Hello, and welcome to a D&D adventure hosted by myself, Leo. I didn't really think of what I'd say as soon as I started this stream, and I'm sure that a lot of people won't hear this because they'll be joining into the stream after a few moments. That being said...
VODs are a thing!
But what? VODs, yes.
VODs.
I was just about to say, but for those on YouTube, who will be watching this back, or anyone watching on the VODs, I have to go over a few credits that I need to say in order to make sure that, you know, everyone who produced artwork or music that you're going to hear throughout this adventure is credited as such. With that being said, have a look at this document while I say aloud the things on this document. A huge thank you to Devin Knight from ImmortalKnights.com. You can find him on Twitter at Devin Knight for doing the NPC tokens that you'll see during this adventure. The website Forgotten Adventures, that's forgotten-adventures.net, or at FRGTN Adventures, were gracious enough to allow people to use their map assets, and I am one of those people. Kaora, that's kaora.com, or at Kaora on Twitter, also produced map assets and NPC tokens that we're going to be using. And a huge thank you to Ian Fisher from Tabletop RPG Music. You can find his Patreon at patreon.com/tabletop RPG music, all one word. And you can find him on Twitter at tabletop_music. And as you can guess, they provided music and ambience for this adventure. Two more to do. I know that everyone hates this bit, but it has to be done. We gotta give credit to the artist, so Michael Gelfi, hopefully pronouncing that right. You can find him at youtube.com/Michael Gelfi, as shown on screen, or his Patreon at patreon.com/Michael Gelfi. And of course, on Twitter, he is Michael Gelfi. He also provided a lot of the music and ambience you're going to be hearing tonight. Lastly, and certainly not least, a huge thank you to Rictus Art, that's on Twitter at Art of Rictus, for providing the character art for all of our characters that you're going to be seeing in just a moment. This streamed adventure is unofficial fan content permitted under the fan content policy, not approved or endorsed by the Wizards. Portions of the materials used are property of Wizards of the Coast, copyright Wizards of the Coast LLC. With that out of the way, folks, we are ready.
Why don't people like that part? I love that part. If I see something that I can use, I'm like, yoink, or I just go and commission the artist. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I personally would just, like, we've all watched most of us have watched Critical Role, right? So, I personally would skip past that normally, because I'm just like, what are they doing now? What are they doing now? But absolutely, go check out those artists, be it the music or any of the physical 2D art that you're going to see. It is all amazing, and they deserve as much credit as we can give them. So, with that being said, I think it's time to do the recap of what happened last time and introduce everyone's characters.
YouTube, it's titled as Episode 1. People are like, what?
Yeah. So, when last we left off is a phrase that someone else also says, but I'm going to say it too. Our adventurers, a party of miscreants, vagabonds, were in the town of Phandalin, finding quests upon the quest board, posted by none other than Harbin Wester, the town's mayor and town master, as appointed to by God knows who, you don't know. But this pompous fat man stood behind his door as you asked him questions about the quests that he had sent you on. One of which being the Dwarven Excavation Quest, where Harbin Wester has asked you to head to the southeast, I think it was. Checking my notes. I can do that on the fly though. And there are two dwarves of which he has asked you to warn about the dragon presence that has been spotted in the surrounding area of Phandalin. Those dwarves are the Gemstone Brothers, And as your company gathered horses at Barthen's Provisions and set off, there was a few things I believe Snick wanted to do. So, we will start off with a introduction for those watching and for the party of Snake, your character, and then what it is you'd like to do throughout the town of Phandalin before making your way.
Yes, hello. I'm Snake. I am playing a character currently known as Flaven. He is at least fancy. He very much looks out of place in this town. What he currently wants to do is purchase some equipment. So as we're walking to our destination, Flaven will go, wait, hang on. Anyone know where a shop is around this part? Preferably one that's not a look around. Like this.
Is that to the party, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we're near the town square, eh? Probably something you can find. Just take a look around, lad.
You'll look around.
Looking at
signage.
Well, let's switch over very briefly to the Phandalin map then. And we'll have a gander at this. You guys are within the town center right now, just south of the shrine that you can see there within the big opening towards the central part of the map. Just to the south of that, you see a half stone, half wooden building with the thatched roof atop it. And at the forefront of the shop, you have this giant wooden set of double wooden doors currently open, and you hear the tinking of metal and general metallurgy sounds going on. Looking above the front archway of the door, you see this wooden shield with a symbol that you don't seem all that familiar with.
Huh. Hey. He'll tap the dwarf on the shoulder.
Oh, aye?
He'll sort of lean down, lean in. What's that?
That, lad, appears to be a door.
The symbol, more specifically.
Tell you what you want about Flint. He's bloody quick.
Och, I dunno know. Why don't you go give it a knock? What, you think all dwarves just know their own symbols and writings?
Did I say that?
You didn't say much at all.
You know what? Fine.
Give it a knock, lad.
Even I'll walk to the door, open it, or try the knob.
I was gonna say you didn't even knock.
Pushing the door to it is ajar at the moment, so it's fairly easy to do so, and creaks as you do. As you look inside, you see one, I believe, human figure, yes, who is currently working at an anvil within the store, with long flowing blonde hair behind this blue sort of armored breastplate that they seem to be wearing as part of coverage to stop the flicks and sparks of metal as the hammer comes down on this hot, you assume, blade that they're currently working on. Ka-tink, ka-tink, ka-tink.
We've all followed, right?
Have you?
Are we all here? I'd follow the guys.
Flaven will walk in and he'll approach maybe about how large is the room?
I'd say it's about 20 feet wide by about like 35 feet length. It's a fairly large room.
He'll walk till he's about 10 feet away from the man, making a point to not get too close to the sparking and tinking.
Appears to be a
he'll simply
woman.
wait. Oh, I'm sorry. A woman.
They bring the hammer down one last time with a firm and sharp tink on the metal before catching you in the corner of their eye. Oh, hello there, dear. Give us just a second. As they take the blade and put it back within the furnace as the coals ember and burn outwards, turning back towards you. Hello and welcome to the Lion Shield Costa. How can I help you this day?
Oh, great. I'm trying to find maybe a bit of armor, maybe a crossbow of some sort. Bits and bobs.
We certainly have things like that of the sorts. I mean, you're looking for a crossbow. Any particular armor you're looking for? We do leather and metal armors here.
Well, what I'm looking for, he'll think, as I try to remember what artificers are proficient with.
Medium, light, and shields. I do believe. Yeah, light, medium, shields.
You mind if I browse?
Sure thing. Would you like a pamphlet, perhaps, of the goods that we have in stock?
Sure, why not?
She rummages behind one of the counters in the store before picking up a somewhat torn, battered leaflet that looks like it's had a lot of use throughout the years before handing it over to you. Here you are, dear. Have a look. The prices and such are all available on there. And just let me know what you need. And she turns towards the dwarf, and you seem to not be wearing much at all. Can I help you with anything?
Ah, no. I'm alright, lass. I thank you, though.
Very well. It can get awfully cold in Phandalin these times of year, and well, the Lion Shield family prides themselves in making armors for all sorts of weathers.
Ah, he's fine. Look, oh, here he is. Prepared for all weathers.
Yes, I believe that be part of the issue I'm having.
Flint will lower his voice a little bit, though, and nudge Junior. Although our companion over there, he come all that way in the caravan with nary a scrap of armor on him, eh?
And I wonder he wants a crossbow, right? At this point, I'm going to go over to Flaven and put my armor on his shoulder. Flaven, I've got a crossbow. You don't need to buy one here.
He will visibly start as you touch him, but he'll make no move or make no comment to disengage otherwise. Oh yeah? What do you got?
I just got a light crossbow. I never use it. I'm the greatest swordsman that's ever lived. I don't need ranged weapons. Also, you smell great. A big smile is over his face. He's obviously taking the minute.
I'll have to lend you some of my cleaning supplies later.
All right.
Light crossbow, you said. I can make that work. I guess in the meantime, hold on to this. He'll finally break away and he'll hand you the pamphlet. And walk back to the lady.
Yes, dear. How can I help you? Have you found what you're looking for?
How much for a set of scale mail?
Let me have a look now through the same thing you were looking for, but the dungeon master won't tell you that. About 50 gold pieces for a set of scale mail, dear.
Ooh, 50 gold for... He'll walk back to the set he was eyeing, run his finger along it. Impressive craftsmanship.
Well, thank you. It's shipped all the way from our main hub up in Yartel. I think I got the name right.
So you didn't make this?
No, I mostly work on weapons only myself here, and we ship the armor from Yartar. It's over 100 miles to the east, so it adds
impressive,
quite a
but
value.
could be better. What do you say to 45 gold pieces? Because I can see a chink right here. This belt's a little loose.
It does look shoddy.
Make a persuasion check. The first roll of the campaign. Here I go.
While they're doing that, now Flint will nudge Fridj. Hey, you've been here a few days, eh? Is it, you think that armor's gonna hold up?
She's known for her craftsmanship. I don't see why not.
Well, I suppose it's only 5 gold cheaper. I can allow 45 gold pieces for the scale mail, and yeah. As you say, it has got a few tinks and the belt is a bit loose. That happens in the transport, I'm afraid. I'm awfully sorry, but yeah, if you'll take the discounted price of 45 gold pieces, then very well.
I would love to take the discounted price, thank you.
Very well, I'll get you written up. Just a moment, and you see her shuffling beneath the same desk that she was shuffling below earlier as she pulls out a sheet of parchment that looks like it's already got some scrawlings upon it, and a quill and ink. She dabs the quill into the ink, writes down a brief, and if you choose to look at it, it just says scale mail, 50 gold pieces, and then -5 written off to the right. And she offers out her hand for you to make payment.
Flaven will provide he'll place 50 gold on the table, and is there like a weapon case around?
I'd imagine so, yeah. There's various... It depends on what you're looking for. There's like sheaves, there's like back mounts for crossbows or weapons, that sort of thing. It depends what you're looking for.
A dagger, simple dagger.
Yeah, you could find like a dagger just like strewn across the desks. There's like a shelving area where there's the smaller sets of weapons. You see various daggers, letter openers, knives of various sorts.
How much for this one? Did he make it? He'll point to a letter opener.
For that, I could
To
do
be
one
clear,
gold piece for you, I suppose.
To be clear, this is something that I would like to use as a dagger.
I'll allow 1 gold piece. It's normally 2 gold pieces, but you can see that looking at her expression, having that set of armor that had like the small dink in it and the leather strap that's not quite fitted as it should be seems to have hit a hard blow on her, and she doesn't want the reputation of the Lion Shield Costa to be affected. So she seems like she's selling stuff a bit cheap now.
This is lovely. I'll take it.
Very well.
Keep the change.
Thank you very much. That's how kind of you. And she takes the 50 gold pieces and starts counting it out one piece at a time, making sure it's all there.
This is all great. Are you ready to go, Flaven? My ken aren't getting any less deader.
They're going to be burnt and charred by the time we get there at this rate.
Hopefully they'll be drier and easier to clean.
I'm not complaining. Less to carry back.
I get it.
She finishes counting up the gold. It all appears to be there. She puts it beneath the counter. And anything else I can do for... And she looks over to Junior. For any of the others here?
Junior draws the sword from behind his back.
Whoa, please.
No, not like only a little bit. Not all the way. Just like, I'm fine. I'm equipped. And then puts it back.
Very well, that I can see. And as you've all been so generous here at my store today, I'll throw in a bit of information that may come of use to you. I've heard tale and talk through Phandalin that apparently to the west of here on the coast there is an old stone lighthouse, and apparently the ships there are drawn to the gleaming tower like moths to a flame. It's said that the ships are doomed to crash upon the rocks there. The lighthouse obviously not built in the greatest of place, but I'm sure that for such adventurers such as you, that there might even be treasure to be found over at said lighthouse.
Noted. Thank you very much. Should we get a stomp on, fellas and ladies?
If you, find anything of worth, you could definitely come back here and sell it to me.
I'm good to go when you guys are.
Yep. Flaven will heft. Go ahead.
For Christ's sake, we're treating this like a flippin' recovery mission. We're just playing messenger.
And don't forget, we must gather the old woman on the way back. Couldn't really leave her to be lunched on, really.
I mean, that was a desired outcome, not a necessity. The whole point was warn, not piggyback.
No, it was warn the Gemstone Brothers, but what about Abora?
Again,
I thought we were...
warn was the main outcome. Bring her back to the village was the additional.
If you bring back the story, you can sing about it.
We'll warn those daft bastards, and then we'll pick up the old woman. Simple piece of cake.
Easy payday.
Dave,
Well,
are you
this is
able to
ready.
turn yourself up just a bit?
Better?
Possibly. Sorry, can continue with where you were. Sorry for the boundary break there.
Right. Everybody good to go?
I'm happy to stomp it. Anyone need horses?
I'm sorry.
Yes, they're all ready. Ready to go.
We have horses?
Why,
We better
yes,
have horses.
from the caravan.
Oh, of course.
Yes, I believe you guys collected them from Barthen's provisions in the session 0.
My mistake.
Very well. So, as you all mount up on your horses respectively and set off towards what I believe was the southeast and forgot to check, towards the quest of, I believe you were heading to the Dwarven Excavation first?
Yes.
Very well. So as you set off from Phandalin, I'm going to just also show the character art and portraits done by Rictus of everyone else's characters, and everyone can take a little bit to describe their characters in full. And I'll just go through alphabetically via the names of people. So first up we have this lovely character.
This is Fridj. She is a human bard. She is originally from Neverwinter, but is currently residing in Phandalin. Yeah, that's about it for Fridj at the minute.
Very well. Thank you, thank you. Next up we have Durfel's character.
That's me. That's Junior. He is originally from Thornhold. He calls himself Junior, as the group would know, as he likes to tell them often. He calls himself Junior because he was an orphan, and he finds that hilarious. As I said, he's from the village of Thornhold, and I think that's all the information that he would have given the crew. Oh, he also is self-proclaimed greatest swordsman in the entire world. He's a bit full of himself.
Thank you for sharing. Next up we have Robin's character.
So this is Seren Julius. She's an Eladrin elf, currently residing, or was currently residing, in the Neverwinter Forest. She's joined in the group trying to search for her own story.
Thank you for sharing. And we showed him briefly, but Shay did not get a chance to describe. This is Shay's character.
Yeah, this is Flint. He was living in Axholm with his dwarven brethren, but he got a little bit tired of their rigidity and all their strict disciplines, so he wandered out and started living in Neverwinter Woods, where he was picked up by this group of adventurers.
And together, this group of adventurers makes the party that we will be having through, hopefully, most of this campaign. If not all of it. Please don't die, though that is an option. But, yeah, I'm really happy with how the art turned out. So, huge thanks again to Rictus. That's at Art of Rictus on Twitter for doing the artwork for this. And, yeah, that was our little segue, little chance to show off all of the characters that we've got here. And I'm excited for everyone to get to know them a lot better as we continue on with the adventure. So, we set off from Phandalin on horseback to the southeast to word of a dwarven excavation that has been found. As such, I'm going to take the opportunity to activate the Swords Coast map. And then look at my DM version of the Swords Coast map. When I can find it. There it is. It was southeast. No, it wasn't. It was southwest. It was so close. You start heading southwest through the fields and plains from Phandalin towards the Dwarven Excavation Site that you've heard to be towards the southwest. You were told by Harbin Wester when approaching his abode within Phandalin that it would be about a few hours' ride by horseback, and you should be there roughly mid to late afternoon, as you did set off in the early morning from Phandalin before doing a bit of browsing and shopping at the Lion Shield Costa. Could I have someone describe how they're going to search for said Dwarven excavation, and then we'll have a check relating to whatever method thou shall choose to find the site of said Dwarven excavation.
Hmm.
Well,
Go for it.
As I say, I'm gonna nudge Seren. Like, you're good at this shit, right?
Oh,
Use-
I'm good at tracking animals and things. I'm sure a couple of dwarves or even
Yeah, sure, you can
wagons.
see
will-
footprints. You got this.
Yeah, let's yeah. So I'm gonna have a look, see if I'm guessing sort of if we're looking for a mining excursion, it's gonna have some sort of tracks or some sort of thing left behind on the road, possibly like more worn down or even sort of carriages going that way that could possibly move materials. Is there anything sort of like grooves in the road sort of thing, if you see what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check then.
Okay.
and Saren, if you can lend me your elven eyes, I might be able to sniff out where these brethren of mine left their camp, their cave.
I'll do my
And
best.
my act.
Do you
I
want? Sorry, do you want me to roll on Foundry or?
Whatever is your preference. If people have dice that they would like to roll, they can roll with the dice and then add the modifiers. But if people would prefer to roll on Foundry, then so be it.
I'm going to roll here only because the computer hates me. 16 plus 4, so dirty 20.
Very nice. Give us just a second. I am thanking people for Twitch Prime subscriptions, which I know the general rule for everyone watching and also the people here is the general rule is I'm going to be avoiding chat for the most part, just because I want the players to have the most of my attention here so that I can craft this adventure for them. But that being said, Prime subscriptions is very nice, and I don't want to belate the people that have chosen to support this adventure. So thank you to Reverend Badger and to Yexima, whom both I know IRL. Thank you both.
That's bloody great, and we appreciate it.
So, a dirty 20. You search across the plains for a brief moment, jumping off of your horseback, feeling across the grass, and you see, as you had described, a few tracks of a cart being pulled by a horse back that you believe to be heading in the right direction, and get the general sense that this might be the way to go.
Flint, I think I've found the way. Do you want to use that nose of yours?
Oh, aye, that's perfect. And really, I was just thinking of, I got some stone cutting here, and I figure, being a dwarf, I've probably seen some mining expeditions in my time.
I'd
Might
imagine
be
you
able to
have.
pick it out easier in the landscape.
Make a history check.
Okay, with my stone cutting, or
Yeah. Which I believe
okay,
gives
cool.
you advantage on things relating to stone.
I think I'm just considered proficient at double
Right.
proficiency, which is great because I'm pretty dumb. Oh, that didn't roll, did it?
It did not.
Let's give this another try. I think I can. So I can. Yeah, I'll do this. And then I'll add proficiency to. Oh, okay. Well, it's
That's
a
a
20
natural
anyway,
20.
so it's
Wow.
a natural 20. So forget it.
Nice.
Looking around, you see the mountainous region towards the southeast in the direction that you are going, and you scan the horizon, seeing the peaks and troughs of the mountain. And you think for a moment to yourself, back to your home, and you think about the landscape that surrounds your home city. You think if you're gonna dig into a mountain, there needs to be peaks for the sedimentary rock to have come up high enough for it to be mined. And you point off to a general direction at the mountain, towards where one of these peaks are, towards the lower end of the mountain. You say, "Ah, hi. I think it's that way."
Thanks, Blade.
It's clear as day that that's where they'd be excavating. Ah, but it might not have been without Seren's help. He gives her a little wink.
That's why we brought you two along. And and go towards the direction they pointed.
I am having...
Flaven will right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
It's fine. Continue.
Flaven will ride up next to Seren and Flint and whisper, "That's why he brought you along," and then ride forward.
Yeah, obviously. Well done, Flint.
I'm having a great time.
So, you guys spend the next hour or so pinpoint focused on this mountain point that's been pointed out by Flint as Seren Julius tracks the cart tracks, weaving in and out of the small hills of the plains as the wind blows, moving the grass back and forth in a rhythmic fashion that almost makes you drowsy before you look back up again to your focused viewpoint, and you make your way towards the site of the Dwarven Excavation.
Can we see any signs of the dragon? Or so-called dragon?
You have not yet seen any signs of the dragon.
Okay.
But I now get to do the scene change. As you arrive at the outside of this excavation site that seems to have been carved into the side of the mountain, creating a canyon in its own right, you see in front of you the DM struggling to find his notes on the... There it is. You are now about 15 miles southwest of Phandalin. You are towards the eastern end of a canyon, and you see in front of you these large rocky walls that rise to a height of about 80 feet. At the end of this canyon, just ahead of you, a 20-foot-high wall of black stone has a broken gate carved into it, with one stone door hanging precariously by a hinge and the other completely strewn across the floor. Beyond this open gate, in the shadow of the great mountain to the east, you see, briefly, small little bits of ruined settlement in the dark that lies ahead of you. And it is dark, very, so those of you without dark vision might find a struggle up ahead to be able to see within such a dark environment. You have arrived at what you believe to be the Dwarven Excavation.
Well, that's not exactly what we wanted to see, was it?
Doesn't look like...
Pull out my torch and light it.
Doesn't look like there's much sign of life around here at the moment.
On some pest power work. Oh, unless maybe that's the well, he pipes down.
Seren will go over to Fridj and just gently lay her hand on her arm and go, "If I'm correct, you cannot see in this darkness. If you wish, I will guide you through."
I appreciate the help, but... And then I'll do the same as Junior and pull out a torch and light it.
Very well.
You always just stick close to me. Gives her a little wink. Very douchebaggy.
Fridj will give him the up and down look, and then just saddle closer to Seren.
You're both
Flint will
now.
heft his big old warhammer. Well, whatever the case, let's get smashing.
Hang on. Flaven will then kneel down and drop the bag of armor that he had yet to don, and then start suiting up. It should be noted that his demeanor has changed dramatically. He seems far more serious.
Alright, we'll take 10 minutes and then we'll start smashing.
You need that crossbow, right, my dude?
Please.
Anyone else
I'm
find
gonna
it
hand my
strange?
light crossbow over to Professor Flip-Flop, as I've got him written as.
What you were saying?
Anyone else find it strange that it's dark in there?
What, in
Yeah.
the cave?
It wasn't a cave, was it? It was just the canyon walls and then a wall sectioning part of the canyon off.
That you believe to be the Dwarven Excavation Site.
Oh, then ignore me, clearly. I am unhinged.
I'm going to put my hand on Flint's shoulder, and just go, Flint, I think you're very wise in wanting to smash things. I think we might need to see what's going on first before we go running in screaming with our hammers out.
Oh,
Do you
it's
mind?
just an expression, you know. Let's get smashing. Let's get to work. We got a job to do.
Well, I wasn't too sure whether you meant it literally, and we're literally going to run in, smashing things. That's good to know. Good to know.
Well, you just all let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm always ready. Let's do this.
Moving forward then,
Slide
can
on
I
up to
have
Flint.
a marching order from everyone?
Oh, I'm fine with marching in there first.
I'm gonna be right behind.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay toward, well, maybe in the middle, if that's all right.
And I'm happy to pick up the rear.
So, Snake in position 4?
You kind of have to fight with Flaven a bit for the rear post, but eventually he'll yield.
Oh, I'm not gonna fight for it. If he wants to be in last place, that's fine.
It's more like he'll step back and then he'll see you go for him, like, okay, and then he'll just walk forward.
Oh, okay then.
Very well, so in that order, go ahead and make your way up to wherever you choose to go within the Dwarven Excavation. And I'll stop you when I choose to kill you.
Oh, yay.
Keep an eye out up
First
there.
things first, through the threshold.
Inside of here, Flint. If we pause now for a moment, this is the part where I choose to kill you all. Looking around, you see the ruins of what appears to be, familiar to your homeland, a dwarven settlement, where most of the stone here seems to have been carved out in the mountainside itself. You see mostly just the stone outlines of buildings. Most of the settlement appears to have been looted or hauled away at this point that you see from your perspective here. A stone well on the far side of this ruins appears to be visible, but as you look over towards it from here, you can see that the side facing you has sort of collapsed in on itself. But oddly looking in that direction, you see, peering through it, a little bit of what appears to be firelight off towards the distance. You may continue.
Everybody gone silent.
I was muted, sorry. I did say Junior's gonna just step forward and just start heading in with his torch above his head.
I am apparently stuck in a wall now, somehow.
Oh no, Flaven!
He's dead. Leave him.
Suddenly got a touch of the nerves there.
Okay, I'm going to need to
Afraid of the dark.
activate the overworld map briefly, because whenever I change the map, or move a token in the map, it messes the lighting up for me. But there we are, I have now fixed Dwarven Excavation, and back you go.
Hey, roll it in.
Hello?
Oh, hello! Hello, who is it? As you peer around the corner there, you see two dwarves currently sat at the campfire, warming their hands as they do so. Oh, hello, we weren't expecting no company here.
Didn't see the torchlight? I said hello a lot bit sooner.
Well,
But hey,
we were campfire. As you can see, there's a campfire. We were a bit busy.
you know what? I'm Junior. Very nice to meet you. And I'm gonna hold my hand out.
He grabs your hand with a firm grasp. Nice to meet you too. The name's Dazzlin. This is my brother Clinton, and we're the Gemstone Brothers. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, pleasure too, Glinton and Dazzlin. That's great to see you lads still kicking.
Ah, it's good to see you as well. I don't see many dwarves around the Phandalin area, only the ones from Axholm. Is that where you're from then, is it? Or you from far away? You look like one of them Axholm folk.
Oh, I at one time or another. But now it's me out on my own. I'm Flint.
Well, nice to meet you, Flint. Already said it, I'm Dazzlin. Nice to, and he eyes you up and down for a moment. Say, you look like a strong dwarf. You want to help another dwarf out, or?
What needs doing?
Well, you see those ruins up there? And he points further in towards the excavation site. There's, we think there's a lot of treasure in there, but we haven't had much luck getting through, I'm afraid. You see, we went in earlier and there were these orchid jellies that were stopping us, and, well, I mean, look at us, we're not much fighters, as we are just enthusiasts of gold and coin, and we thought that perhaps there would be treasure to be found in here, and those blasted jellies won't let us get any further. We did find, just as we went in, a small little secret door, but most of that room had collapsed inwards. Say, would you be willing to help a dwarf out?
It's all well and good, Daz, but now's not the time. We're here with a message. There's a dragon on the loose. Everyone's required to head back to the town.
Oh, by the way, my new dwarven friend. This here is Seren. That over there is Fridj, and that is Flaven.
I know the boys.
Bunch of handsome
They
and
come
brave
into
people.
the tavern often.
I see. I will shut my mouth.
We
and I'm gonna
do
go sit
know
down.
of Fridj, aye. Lass, how is Old Stonehill?
Same as always, missing your company, mind.
Well, you know, we gotta earn our coin somewhere if we're gonna be buying that mead. Not like you to be away from the tavern, though.
Same as same, but as I said, dragon on the loose.
Aye, that's fair. Arbin sent you, did he?
Arbin wouldn't leave his shop, his house. Quivering.
Aye, he's a wreck, he is. He shouldn't be town master, you know my thoughts on that. I've told you time and time again. But look, I'm all well and good coming back to the town if there's this dragon out on the loose. But you're here, and if there's a quick coin to be made, I think... You know what? And he turns towards Clinton for a second. What if we give him the... You want to give him the things? Yeah, I mean, we only use them when we're apart, and we spend a lot of time together. So, I mean, we could give him them as like a prize for helping us clear through and seeing what treasure's in there. Well, I suppose so. If you folk who look a bit more armed than we are want to help us clear through the temple up ahead, we'll give you each, not each, but we have two. We each have one of these. We'll give you one of these, and you see them both pull out what appears to be a mostly smooth stone surface with a symbol on the face of it.
And what, pray tell, are that?
Is it expensive?
Well, I imagine it's worth a pretty penny, but I wouldn't want to sell it, being it's quite a rare artifact. These are called sending stones. And you see, if I were to squeeze this rock and talk to it, I could send a message to that rock, and he points to the one in Glinton's hands. And the person holding that rock would hear that message, no matter how far away they are.
Yeah, it's handy, but it's more of a parlor trick, really. I don't know if it's worth dying over. What's in there, Jen?
All we've seen so far is a bunch of orca jellies.
So if you're
That seems
saying
simple enough.
if we kill the orca jellies, then we get stones.
And help us clear through the temple of anything else that might be in there, we'll give you these sending stones.
Feel like a bit of cash should be involved as well. Junior's going to check his nails very nonchalantly.
Well, I'm sorry, that's why we came here. We don't exactly have a lot. We spent it all at the Stone Hill, and now we need to earn more money to spend it at the Stone Hill.
Well, how about if we help you get through to the treasure that's buried beneath, we're allowed to take a few items from said treasury if you're going to obviously delve it out yourselves.
That seems fair to me. I mean, there's 5 of you, and we only have 2 sending stones, so it only seems right that you get like another 3 bits of treasure if there are for sharing amongst yourselves.
I mean, what do you all think? I mean, we are a group working together. What do you all think?
That's good to me.
Well said and well worked out. Let's get to it.
Junior's already started, like, head in with his torch up over his head again.
Flint's gonna try and catch up to Junior as fast as his stubby little legs can carry him.
Very well.
Before we get started,
Go on.
wondering if you've seen a human, about yay tall. He'll hold up a hand and measure, wearing some weird yet strangely charming armor.
We did, yeah. Come to think of it, and you see him stroking his beard as he does so. We did see an individual about that height, a female, coming through with armor on. It was quite weird armor. She didn't look like it fit her all that well, but she was asking if we'd wanted to buy it. And I said, well, there's no, like, we got no money. I offered the sending stone. She went too interested in that. And I said that it looked like quite fancy armor, very tinkery, tonkery and all that. So I said the gnomes at Normangard, they're tinkers. And we sent her off that way. Wished her the best of luck. She didn't want to help us take the treasure in here.
Gnomes at Normangard.
Aye, can I ask, what you got looking for a lass like that anyway?
Making sure she keeps her head out of trouble. And to get what's mine.
Oh, so you know this lass.
We have a history.
Oh, fair enough. Well, like I said, I sent her off to Normangard, but I can keep my eye out for you if that's what you want.
I'd love for you to keep an eye out.
Very well, and you see him, he raises his arm to the back of his head and paps the back of his head as his glass eye shoots out from the left-hand side of his face. I'll keep an eye out for you. And you see Glinton's just, like, rubbing his forehead. He does this a lot.
You know what? I walked into that. That's fine. Shall
Best of luck in there, and if things go south, shout and we'll shut the doors and lock you in.
Junior's going to yell at this point. Fancy pants, are we done back there? Can we go in?
Yeah, you can go in.
Great!
So it's as you get this far. Back.
I was back there? Sure.
Yeah. As you get this far into the room, you see that this is what appears to be a fairly dusty foyer with only a few footprints of that you imagine similar to the dwarves that you've just encountered and spoken to. A few spikes are hammered into the floor that hold open these two sets of double doors, the ones that you've just been through and the one ahead. To the left of you, as you approach the second set of double doors, you see this almost perfect stone surface that has been opened in a clockwise motion inward towards the room to your north that you assume to be the secret doorway they had spoken about previously. And ahead of you, you see these 4 stone pillars jutting out from the ground, a bearskin rug followed by this velvet dust-covered rug that leads up to those of you with well, I mean, you have the torch up, you can see it dimly lit off in the distance, this small altar that appears to have had a figure stood atop it at one time, but now just 2 stumps of legs of varying height, or all that remain, the rest crumbled around the surface of this altar. Looking around at the walls, you see 4 unlit sconces that appear 2 near the altar and 2 further back opposite the pillars of the room. I would like either Flint or Junior to make a perception check for me.
Either? Like, we have to decide?
Yeah. Whomever was
feeling,
first in.
Oh,
Probably would have been Junior then. He seems pretty excited.
Right. Okay. 4.
Yeah, you see what I noticed. A bit of dust covering the room makes it hard to see much else.
And nudge Flint. So like, hey, do you want to make a whole new suit? And point at the rug.
You're a funny one, lad.
Why do I feel like it? You know what? Bit
And
sarcastic,
Flint will
but
advance into the room. Alright, so we know we got a bit of opposition. Now, where is that entrance they were talking about?
is this in front of me, Leo, a torch thing?
It is one of the sconces on the wall, yes.
And I set it on fire with my torch.
You can. You raise the torch up towards the sconce on the wall and place it inside, and give me the first bit of work that I have to do as I place that there. It is now lit, and I just need to move the light into place, and you hear, as you do this,
Oh,
a sound emanating from the wall as you hear a of grinding of stone as you have uncovered. God, why is everything in so many different places? Come on. A secret door, a passageway that has now opened in front of you. Leading
I
off
was just trying to
a
light
hallway.
the room up, but hey, look what I found, guys.
Ah,
I'm a
great!
genius.
Greatest swordsman, greatest investigator too.
And with that,
Right.
Seren, as you are currently stood near the altar, unfortunately, you as walking towards it, you hear a slight little throop, and on top of your hat, your hood, that currently covers your head and your body, part of your cloak, and you look up towards the ceiling above you as another drip lands on your forehead. Wiping it away, you see this orange oozing blob undulating on the roof of the wall as it drops from the ceiling down towards you. I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
Jesus.
Woohoo!
Has that whole ultimate look, just looking up and just the eyes like, oh no. Okay.
It's a 12 for Fridj.
Give us just a second as I get the combat set up. Flint is 10. I need people. Can I just do this in here? How do I like that, right? Yeah, okay, 12 for Fridj. Can I edit this manually? Do you know, Shay? That's a 9.
Yeah, you should be able to.
It doesn't appear to be letting me in the update combatant. Oh, there we go. 12.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry. Teething pains, everyone.
No, that's okay. We're all pretty new to Foundry.
Okay, so to help also make this easier for putting everyone's numbers in, anyone from 25 and above? 15 to 20?
Oh, sorry. I thought you had 25 and above. I'm 23.
Oh, damn. Nice. Okay, let me add you in there. Update combatant, that is 23. 15 to 20. 10 to 15.
12 for Fridj.
13 for Flaven.
Whoops, I accidentally just made Flaven dead for a second.
That's fair.
I think we can see a name we shouldn't be seeing.
No, you can't. No.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
Very. What was your initiative roll again, Snake? Sorry?
13.
13. And then Junior, you're the only one left.
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's get you added in with that 4. Then I will very quickly roll the jellies, which let's reveal this one. The only one. The only one. The only one that exists.
Something tells me lies.
Yeah. Jellies or jelly. So, you know.
Top of the round. Seren, as you see this jelly dropping towards you, you have a quick moment to react to what it's doing. Go ahead and take your turn.
Okay, so is it still on the ceiling? Have I got time to Misty Step out of the way?
I'll allow it.
Okay, so I use my bonus action Misty Step to, like, teleport away up to 30 feet. So hang on, 5, 10, 20, right next to Fridj.
Sure.
And I will draw my bow and let loose an arrow at it.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
14.
Is that adding your dex and your proficiency?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That, sorry, I'm losing everything. 14 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, so 1d8. Which is not them, which is that one? That is 6 points of piercing damage.
6 points of piercing damage. As you fire the arrow, it almost slits straight through the jelly out the other side as part of its... What's the word? Part of its...
Mass.
being and mass, thank you, is ejected outwards onto the wall behind it. It looks hurt. Well, it certainly looks like that has hurt it. should I say.
You
Okay.
wounded it emotionally.
It did.
Just wanted to be
Mood.
friends.
Hurt all of its feelings.
Seren just like shrugs her shoulders and is like, well, I can use that arrow for later, I guess.
Anything else for your turn?
That will end my go.
Very well. Flaven, you are up.
Well, with that crossbow, did you also provide bolts?
I guess I didn't. I guess I didn't, because I didn't think about it.
Yeah. So Flaven will go, he'll level the crossbow with the thing, all business, and then he'll squeeze the firing mechanism and realize there's not a bow or a bolt knot. So he'll glare daggers into Junior from across the room.
Still looking
and
at the
then-
torch.
It's unfortunate.
And he'll very, very gingerly set the crossbow down, extend a hand, snap, and a firebolt will appear and dart towards the ochre jelly.
Is that an attack roll or a saving throw?
There's an attack roll that I need to make.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Natural 20.
Damn! The first
Whoa,
natural 20 in combat.
nice.
Okay, yeah, that hits. It's the natural 20. Go ahead and roll damage, doubling the dice when you do so.
18 damage.
18 damage to this jelly. Does that work? It does! Oh my god, that's so good that I can just put the number that's currently in minus 18 and it'll subtract it for me. I like Foundry, guys. I like Foundry. So you send out this firebolt towards the creature, and as it hits and impacts, you see it burn across the side of the creature, causing half of it to crust over in its surface, almost solid in form now. It's become crystalline. The creature looks very hurt. Anything else for your turn?
I will... I'll look up and attempt to see if there are any more.
I'll say using your bonus action, yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check to view the surroundings now that the room has been lit up.
16.
16. Are these rolls private or public? Because I
They
think...
should be public.
Oh, I realize that there is another way people can see a name.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah.
Apologies.
Yeah. That's fine. It's already done.
If it's any consolidation, the people in chat haven't seen, I don't think.
I've
Okay.
not seen it either, if that helps.
Fair.
It ultimately matters not. It's fine.
16. Looking up from where you are currently, you look up past both the pillar you're next to and the pillar next to Seren Julius, and you see these two undulating blobs of similar looking liquid on the roof just above those two pillars. I will reveal those now. Do you
Two
care?
more.
Yep. Go ahead, sorry.
Sora, Fridj. He'll point.
Very well. On to Fridj's turn.
Cool. Fridj will yelp a bit in surprise at noticing this creature that Flaven has pointed out, but knowing ultimately she can't do anything against this one, she'll go the 25 feet to reach the one that's half crystallized and try to attack it with her longsword.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
Oh dear. 14?
14 hits. Roll that damage.
Okay. What is that? Bear with me. D8, 2 triangles stuck together. That is 8 points damage.
Did you roll an 8, or is that 8 plus the stuff on the sheet?
I rolled a 7 plus
Okay.
a 1.
Are you not proficient with longsword?
Not that I'm aware of.
Very well. Okay, 7 points of damage. Just double checking because everyone's, it's everyone's first time using character and such, so making sure everyone is all good in that regard. Very well. I have just done the math wrong on that. That should be that. There we go. Sorry. You slice into the creature and it's almost nothing but a small cube of jelly at this point, but it appears to still be undulating and moving. Anything else for your turn?
No, that's all I can do at this point.
Cool. Flint, you're up.
Well struck! Let's handle the last of that right now! And he hefts his warhammer and goes to bash the still undulating mass.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
10.
Hit. Don't have a lot of IC if you're a jelly.
I got 7 bludgeoning damage.
That is enough. You swing your hammer up from above and you splat down on this jelly, and just blobs of it just splat out in all directions as your hammer crunches into the stone below the surface, breaking one of the tiles of the floor. The jelly, as you lift your warhammer back up, sort of does that like gloopy sort of holding onto the floor and the hammer at the same time as you lift the hammer up before just dropping off the hammer and remaining still and motionless.
Next! And Flint will start to take off over here. And as he passes them, he'll say,
Try to keep up, Junior.
gets right up next to the second one.
Fair enough.
And that's it for me.
With that, it is the Orca Jelly's turn. The one next to you is going to go ahead and start moving around in a weird fashion that you haven't seen any creature before be this flexible as it makes its movements around, and it spins in such a way that it sort of slaps you across the face with like an appendage it is made from this spiraling motion. That is going to be a 14 to hit.
For me?
Yes.
Nope. It does not.
Very well. Well, it can't do anything else with the other jelly now. It's going to take its turn. Let me roll 1d2 here and see. Okay. He's going to... Oh, I'm controlling Fridj. Oh, no, I'm not controlling Fridj also.
No, that's me. Sorry.
He's going to move over to the right here towards Flaven and do a similar motion as the other jelly has just done, spinning around and trying to thwap into the face of Flaven. That is a 15 to hit.
That hits.
You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as the jelly slaps you across the face, leaving a bit of... Now that it's close to your nose, you can smell it, and it is just an awful smelling, pungent ooze that is now on the one side of your face. That is the jelly's turn. Junior, you are up.
Right. Well, Junior is too busy like patting himself on the back of finding out this torch. Opens up a secret door. Finally realizes to turn around and see the chaos that's happening behind him. Draws his longsword, sees that Flint's on the right side of him, and run towards... each one of these squares is 5 foot, I assume.
Correct.
Right, so I can do 5, 10, 15, 20, because
That is a pillar.
runs towards...
So you'll have to go around the pillar there.
That's fine.
Yep, you're now within melee range of that orca jelly.
And swing my longsword at the guy.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
$17.
Hits, go ahead and roll damage.
3. No, wait, 4.
As you slice into the jelly with your longsword, which I believe is slashing damage, correct?
Yeah.
And it actually has enough health to do this time. You see the jelly split into 2 similar-sized jellies in that one space there before you as your sword clinks through them. And now, in front of you, you have 2 orca jellies.
Now they're multiplying, guys. We gotta stop this.
Do you mean
Flaven, I yell.
Do you mean they're jelly babies?
Oh god.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna shut up now.
Sorry, I'm just putting this one into the same initiative order as his originality was, and updating some things. That is now medium. That is now medium. Okay, and you were a 6. Okay, apologies. Anything else for your turn, Junior?
You know what? Bonus action, I can... Where is it? Sorry, I'm looking through my things. I can, like, surge, right? Or can I not do that yet?
Let me have a look at your character sheet, and I will let you know.
I can't do it yet. Level 1.
Yeah. Next level.
Yeah, can't do it. Yeah, that's my turn.
Cool. With that, we're back to top of the round with Seren Julius.
Okay, so Seren is going to put her bow away. I don't know how you allow getting weapons in or out, and would like to draw both her short swords.
Yeah, normally the rule is that it's a action or bonus action to put away or take out weapons and such, but I'm not an asshole, so I will say that putting away your bow and taking out a sword doesn't take a full 6 seconds. So go ahead and you still have your action and bonus.
Okay, brilliant. Yep. So I'm going to take out my 2 short swords, spin them around deftly in my hands, and move towards the one that Flint's at, and try and strike it through.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okay, so 18 plus 5, so
Hits,
I'm
yeah.
bad at math. Lovely, which is 1d6 plus 3. Oh, so that's 9 points of damage.
What type?
It is piercing damage.
Very well, so you spin these swords around and then stab through the orca jelly, doing 9 with it again?
Yep, 9 points of piercing.
9 points of damage to the jelly, as, again, similar to like the arrow you had fired previously, you pierce through and just splatter of this jelly's liquid goes onto the wall behind before dripping down the wall. It appears to be slightly smaller now.
Okay, and as a bonus action then, as I have 2 weapon fighting and it's a light weapon, I'm going to swing round with the other arm and hit it with the other sword.
Go ahead. Roll an attack. This time without proficiency, I believe, because you do not... Do you have the dual wielding feat?
I do. I have 2 weapon fighting.
Let me just read that quickly. Go ahead and roll the
So
attack.
can I attack twice with dual wielding?
As
There's
a
Yeah, so when
bonus
you
if
take-
it's finished.
Yeah, there's one that allows for attacking without... Like, you can just attack without proficiency as a standard if you're holding two weapons, but there is a feat that allows you to attack with the offhand and still get the proficiency bonus that you would normally get as if it were a normal attack with your main hand.
Okay.
I do not see the feat on you for the two-handed.
Sorry.
Did I forget to add that?
I haven't. No, it's on my. Because I'm new to Foundry, I don't know where to find everything. So I've also got D&D Beyond up as well. So I'm just looking at that through my bonus actions.
Yeah, it just says actions in combat, 2-weapon fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just your normal like bonus action attack. So I think that'd just be with your whatever damage the weapon does.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's not proficiency then for the attack roll.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, when you take the attack action and attack with a light melee weapon that you're holding in one hand, you can use bonus action to attack with a different light melee weapon that you're holding in the other hand. Yeah, you don't add your ability modifier to the damage of the bonus attack unless that modifier is
Ability
negative.
modifier, apologies. You still have your proficiency, but not the ability modifier, so not the dex, I believe it is.
Okay,
Sure.
so that's fine. So
Sorry,
I get my
just making
proficiency,
sure we
but
get
not
that
the
right. Go ahead and
No,
make
that's
the
still
attack
fine.
roll.
No, for future. Okay, so it'd be 2. It's a dirty 20.
Very nice, that hits. Go ahead and roll the damage.
That's 8 points of piercing damage.
Another 8 points of piercing damage into the jelly, again splatting more of it on this wall behind it, and the bits that splatter off from the main corpus of the jelly appears to be inert then, no longer moving or breathing such. Anything else for your turn? I believe that's your action, your bonus. Any movement?
Yep, that. Yeah, I'll just move. I'll just like slide back a bit again with my momentum.
I will say
Well,
if
yeah,
you do
no,
so, you would provoke an attack of opportunity. Possibly.
Yeah? No, I'll go back. Yeah, I'll take a step back.
The jelly does not attack you. Flaven.
I will take an action to disengage,
Very well.
and as I do so, I will, sort of dazed, bring a gloved hand to my face and wipe away the jelly. And now I assume it's intermingled with blood, so I will marvel at that, still dazed, and step slowly out of the room.
Very well. Fridj.
Seeing that Flaven has left, I will go and attempt to help Junior with the 2, and again just swing with my longsword, which apparently I am proficient in.
Correct. Go ahead and roll an attack roll.
That is a 9.
Hits. Again,
Wow.
these
Right.
guys don't have a lot of armor class.
That's 3 points of damage.
It is an 8 in the armor class to let folk know. Similarly, as you carve down into this jelly, just as Junior had done just a few moments prior, you carve through the jelly. Oh, actually, this is interesting because... Oh no, Junior went off. Yeah, I think it would have already used its reaction from Junior, despite the fact that it's now 2 different jellies. I'll say that it's already used its reaction, so it wouldn't be able to. It appears to not do anything to the jelly, as you carve through it this time.
I'm just gonna look at it worriedly.
Very well. Anything else? Bonus action? Anything like that?
Nope.
Flint.
And here we go again. Bash. 16.
16 hits.
Splomp. 9 bludgeoning on the one in front of me.
9 bludgeoning. Very well. It's starting to look quite small compared to its original size, as most of it is splattered on the surfaces around, some splattering on your shins as you bring the hammer down atop it. Anything else for your turn?
All right. Can I step in front of it there? Over this way?
Yeah, I'll allow it. You can squeeze. It's a fairly small creature now, so you can dart into and out of its space without issue there, I'd say.
All right, I'll give it the squeeze, and that's it.
Cool. Back to the initiative stuff. It is... Well, that one's dead. I need to... Okay. So this orca jelly is... As you step past it, just unfortunate that its turn is next, not actually because it got an attack of opportunity. It's going to do that similar movement towards you, spinning around and then try and slap towards your chest. That is a 20 to hit, dirty 20.
Yeah, that'll do it.
You take 14 points of damage as the jelly thwaps in towards you.
14, you say?
14 points of bludgeon. Well, a total of, what's that? It would be 6, 12, 14 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh, wait, no, that's doing it wrong. Can I see the split on this? I can. 7 points of bludgeoning and 5 points of acid damage.
So 12 total.
Correct.
Okay. Ugh. Oh, that thing's got a hell of a sting, doesn't it?
Still standing, eh? I'll have to hit harder next time. With that, the next jelly is going to take its turn. That's this one over here. Which one is that? That's the upper one. Having recently been hit by you, Fridj, it's going to make its attack on you.
Yep.
That's an 18 to hit.
Yep.
With 15 points of damage. Which is...
She's down.
7
Fridj is
bludgeoning
down.
and 6 acid damage. As it thwaps across your face, Fridj falls back unconscious onto the ground.
That would be 13 if it makes a difference.
No, not really. Thanks, though.
Who's the what now?
You said 15 before, then you said 7 and 6.
Yes, but it's also the +2, sorry. So it's...
okay, got it.
It's 2d6 plus 2, and then 1d6 acid, and it rolled a 2 and a 5
Gotcha.
for the 2d6 and a 6, and that was all that I had. Apologies. So yeah, 15 points of damage, 6 of which with acid. And then the next orca jelly is going to thwop toward... Well, firstly it's going to move towards, and then thwop at Junior. That is an 8 to hit.
Miss it.
Misses you entirely. The thwop unsuccessful. Junior, it is now your turn.
Oh, damn it. After seeing these guys splitting up whenever I slash them, I guess I'm just going to stomp down on this one that just knocked out Fridj.
Okay, go ahead and make an unarmed strike.
A 3.
You rolled a 3?
Yeah.
And I think you add your strength for unarmed, I believe.
Oh yeah, +4. Okay.
Yep. 3 plus 7 misses. Sorry. Their AC's 8.
Cool. I'm gonna just stand here,
Yep.
looking at both of these jellies in front of me.
Sorry, man. It sucks, I know. As you were fighting that jelly, Flint, off to the right past the pillar beside you, you see this similar looking orange ooze start to seep through what had up until now appeared to be just a solid surface on the wall, as this jelly oozes through what you now imagine to be a secret door in that direction. Up in the right here, and it is going to make its full movement towards you. It has now moved its full movement. It has 10 feet, and it moved 5 to get through the wall. Okay, Seren.
Okay. I already put my bow away and brought the swords out, so start as we mean to go on. So she'll go. Yeah, no, 5. 10. Yeah, and swipe at the jelly that's just come through the wall.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
Okay. 3 plus 5, so an 8.
That hits. 8 is its AC.
Oh, just. Cool. That's 5 points of piercing damage.
5 points of piercing. And the offhand?
And again, yeah, offhand. What did I get? I got a 12.
Hits.
And only 4 points of piercing.
Another 4 points of piercing. It all adds up. It's all good. As you in towards the jelly, bits of it splatter towards the wall it had just come through. It's looking a bit hurt.
Yep, that'll end my go.
Flaven.
Poke my head back in. So there's still... We have the 2 down here. Which ones are damaged?
Currently all of them are damaged. The ones that currently look the smallest, which you can assume to be the most damaged, is the one near Flint, followed by the 2 near Junior and Fridj. The healthiest of them being the one near Seren. And the deadest being the one that is dead.
Fair enough. I will actually take another step forward, kneel down beside the pillar as I'm surveying the enemies and the rest of the party's effectiveness against them. I'll place a hand on Fridj and cast Cure Wounds.
Go ahead.
11 HP back.
Oh, amazing, thank you.
When I move 15 feet, and then I'll move the rest of my movement right back out.
Fair, fair.
They're multiplying. We need to leave.
I concur.
Fridj. You are currently prone on the ground, but
Engaged.
stable.
I do not have the option to disengage.
You can always,
Yes, I do.
so
Actions in combat, I
anyone can take
disengage.
the disengage as an action. Certain classes, like the rogue, can take it as a bonus action.
So I will take the action to disengage, and then I will move my full range, which is halved now that I'm getting up, right?
if you are getting up, you could crawl, I believe.
I'm gonna
which
get
I
up.
think
I'm
would
gonna.
still be half movement.
Yeah, it would. There's no reason not to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna vamoose.
Mm-hmm.
So are you doing diagonals as 5 or as
5 for
10
the
or-
first, and then 10 for the second, 5 for the third, 10
Okay.
for the
5,
fourth, so on and so
10,
forth.
15?
Cool. Very well. Flint.
Ready? Let's finish this one in front of Flint off.
Go ahead. 21 hits.
21. Uh-huh. And
10
10
points.
bludgeoning.
10 points of bludgeoning damage, as this one now is looking extremely hurt. Most of it has been splattered against your warhammer and the surface below it. There isn't much left of it at all.
Still not, eh? Where are y'all going?
We're funneling them. You hadn't noticed they hit real hard.
I think it'd be a good idea.
guess. And he'll take a couple of steps back.
With that, the Orca Jelly is going to take an attack of opportunity on you. This time.
Sure.
23 to hit.
No.
No? Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
better than your last one. You're good.
13 points of damage, split with 6 and 4 total.
13
4.
points? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, man.
God damn it.
Down I go.
So up next is the Orca Jellies. That one sees that you are down. Let's roll and see what it goes for here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's gonna
I could join
move
this on the D&D campaign.
5, 10 feet of movement towards here and take a swipe at Seren Julius. That is 16 to hit.
Oh, it hits. Yeah.
9 points of damage.
Okay. Still standing.
That's 8 points of bludgeoning, 1 point acid. Cool. Still standing. Great. That is fantastic news, actually. Dungeon
Hang on,
Master
hang
never
on,
wants to see
How much overall? Sorry.
8 total.
8 total. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm
I
still
believe I
standing.
said.
Yes.
Sorry, 9 total.
Okay. Cool.
The Orca Jellies down towards Junior are gonna do the obvious thing and hit Junior. The first one here doing its attack. Shwoop, 12 to hit.
Nope.
And the second one doing its attack. 16 to hit.
That's my AC.
So that just hits. You take 12 points of damage.
Oh god, okay.
8 of which was bludgeoning and 4 acid.
Oh, are you down too?
Yeah.
If we're going for them, you go for the one on the left, I'll go for the one on the right.
Junior, I need you to make a death
Well.
saving throw.
Oh cool, how do I do that?
So, in the Foundry on your character sheet, if you click death saves,
Where do I see death save?
oh,
You would have
haven't
had
been
to
updating
amend your hit points first.
Oh, I did it in...
And then if
Can
you
you get
click,
them up?
I can cast Healing Word.
Perfect.
Right, and then how do I death save?
if you click the word death
Yeah.
save in your character sheet, It'll roll it.
I don't see where death save is. Sorry, man. I do see it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Just normal.
Normal. Success. And that is automatically added it to you, for you. So once you get 3 successes, you'll stabilize at 0 hit points. If you get 3 failures, bye-bye, Junior.
Oh.
With that, the last of the remaining jellies is going to... I'm sorry. This is the encounter as written in the book. Take its attack at Seren. An 8.
Oh, that misses.
Yeah! Okay, it misses. Swept straight past you as your cloak. You jump back just out of the way. Very nice. Very nice. Top of the round. Seren, you are up.
Right, okay,
The one behind you looking the most worse for wear, and the one in front of you, the one that you just attacked previous round, looking the healthiest of them.
Okay, don't have any bonus actions to run away. It's only a main action. Okay, that's damaged. Then there's 2 down. No, I'm going to disengage.
Okay, that's an action. You disengage. You have your full movement.
5, 10, 15. Would it be possible? I don't know. It probably is an action, isn't it? If I could grab the leg of Flint and just try and drag him down the hallway.
It would be an action to grab him. Sadly, yes.
Okay, I'll hop over just next to Fridj there.
Okay.
And then I go.
Awesome. Flaven, you are up.
Excuse me. Just gonna reach past and...
Excuse me. Sorry, coming through.
What's the closest part of Flint to me?
Probably his arm. Given that he was facing upwards and then got knocked backwards, I'd say his left arm.
I'll flick him and cast Cure Wounds.
Go ahead.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm out of spell slots.
7 points of healing. Very nice, as you are now once again in the land of the living. Flint.
Appreciate it.
Anything else for your turn, Flaven?
I'll remove the rest of my movement back here.
Oh,
I'll say,
hello. How's it going in there?
Not great. We have problems. They're coming.
Oh, okay. Time to add these 2 to the initiative order. Cool. Anything else for your turn?
That will be it.
Cool. So, with that, we are on Fridj.
Fridj is going to reach around the bend, and knowing it doesn't require it, but doing it for good luck, is going to slap Junior on the forehead to make sure it sticks and cast Healing Word.
Very well, go ahead and do so.
And that is 6 points of healing.
Junior, you are now no longer dying. You are stable, still bled prone, but alive with 6 points of health. Anything else for your turn, Fridj?
I'm going to back up too. But on the understanding that I may be needed to jump back in.
Very well. Flint. The darkness has faded.
Oh, how
you see
dare
again.
you whack me with my back turned, you whoreson! That just gets me so fired up on good. And I'll rage with my bonus action.
Yeah. There we go.
Smash.
I'll heft my big warhammer and really hope that I can just sink it into this jelly in front of me.
Go for it.
Show him a thing or two about how we fight.
That hits.
13.
Come on, buddy, kill it.
I'll do 7 plus another 2, I think it is, for raging. So I've got 9 bludgeoning.
I will tell you, right? I thought that was 7 initially, and I was so upset because I thought that you hadn't got enough damage to kill this thing. But then you said it's an extra 2 because you're raging, and that is exactly the number of hit points this thing has left, with 9 hit points.
Come on.
As you
Nice.
smash the hammer down into the jelly, it is obliterated across the surface and no longer moving.
Meet your end in the depths of hell! Who's next? And he just, like, looks around with his warhammer ready to go again.
Fair. 2 down. Wunderbar. Next up would have been that jelly. But instead it is the 2 near Junior, who... I don't want to be an ass. Let me roll.
I left unattended. Bad idea.
14. This jelly is going to move 5. I couldn't do
Yeah,
that.
attack
because it'd be too
opportunity,
big.
even though I'm prone.
You do. You do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Do you have to make attacks at disadvantage when prone? I don't think so, right? It's just if you are prone, melee attacks against you have advantage, right?
I'm pretty sure that attacking melee from prone incurs disadvantage, yeah.
Then,
sense,
for
right?
now at least, we'll say that it does, and I will check it after this session. So yeah, make an attack roll with disadvantage on Jelly numero 3.
9.
That hits.
Oh, really?
It's only got 8 AC.
Oh, where's my... I've lost my D8. There it is. Breathe.
What weapon are you doing this with?
My longsword, that's the
Okay.
only one I've got equipped. 5.
You slice through the jelly, and it uses its reaction to do the similar. It is now a smaller creature yet again, but 2
yeah.
of them that have both now moved in the similar direction, up towards Flint.
Junior! What are you doing?
The other one, however, is going to take its attack against you. That is a 14 to hit.
Yeah, miss.
Cool. Okay. With that, it is your turn now.
Action disengage, right? I can do that.
Correct? Yep, you can.
Gonna back up towards Flint here. Yeah, I mean, I could take them out, but I'm out of here, and I'm going to leave as much as I can. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to stand by here with Fridj.
Hey, down in front.
I go down in front. Does crouching count as going prone?
I think that's just flavor.
Yeah, it was just flavor.
Why haven't you got arrows? What are you doing?
Gee, I wonder.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Seren's gonna huff, wipe some of the slime off her swords, put them back, get the bow out again. Oh, yes. It hasn't moved. Oh, okay. Yeah. So she's gonna draw a longbow and fire. Can she see? Could you see the one that hasn't moved? no, the one that's quite damaged. Sorry, I don't think I can ping on this map, can I? No. The blob that came out of the wall from the secret door. That's okay. I'll shoot at one of the jelly babies in front. Okay. It's an 18 plus 5, so 23. Yes, yeah. Okay, so I rolled 2 plus 3, so 5 piercing damage. Okay, and with that, Seren's gonna step back while wiping some more slime off of her and looking just in absolute disgust. And then my go.
Leo, you're muted on stream. Sorry to interrupt.
I have been. How long has that been for? I hope not too long.
I think just a minute or two as the last round was taking place. People in chat were messaging.
I think one of my hotkeys might be one of my numpads to mute it. Thank you for letting me know.
That's okay.
So Dazzlin is going to take his turn to move 25 feet away, as is Glinton. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Having heard it's bad from Flaven. And then, speaking of, Flaven, 'tis your turn.
Well, you know the funny thing? That's like the third time that I've heard the word Flaven and Head did not respond to it mentally, just because it's not the actual thing.
Yep.
I will firebolt the closest one to Flint.
Do you have bolts now?
I have cantrips, and firebolt
Oh,
is a cantrip.
firebolt. I thought you said... sorry, I thought you meant like fire
gotcha.
a bolt from the crossbow.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Apologies.
He has no bolts. Because someone forgot to give him some.
19 certainly hits. And is this on this one, to be clear?
Yes.
Cool.
Just checking the damage. Just,
9 points of damage as you fire the firebolt out from your hand, extending its force towards the jelly. The firebolt soars through the air and continues past the jelly as the jelly is gone. It's no longer there. It is dead. Very nicely done. Another one bites the dust. That is the wrong one. That is the wrong one. There we go. Too many jellies. Anything else for your turn?
I think that'll be it.
Fridj, you are up.
Knowing that there's only one left and there are people in front of me, I'm just gonna inch back a bit more.
No.
No?
There are 3 left.
Then I'm gonna keep inching backwards. Because I'm not engaged with anyone and that'll be my turn.
Fair enough.
Like, in fact, where's my horse?
Outside the canyon, currently. Unless
Whose idea
you're
was
still
it to
riding
leave them
it.
out there? Yeah, right.
I just assumed that
None
you
of us
guys
ever
were-
said that we offer horses.
I assume you guys tied it up inside the little ruins area then.
Yeah.
Sure.
Surprise, we're all doing mounted combat.
I'm gonna like wide-eyed suddenly look at Flaven and go, "You don't think they'll take our horses, do you?"
You know, if they do, you know them. We'll find them.
Fair point.
Flint.
All right. Which of these two? I'm gonna give a menacing look. These two jellies below me to the south.
Yes.
Which of them looks smaller?
The one right and down.
My
In
my
between
right,
two
or is it-
pillars.
Oh, in between two pillars. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take a step towards it.
But we just talked about this funnel.
Well, you're all shooting your little bolts and spells now, aren't you? I guess I'm the one on the front lines, and it's time to make my ancestors proud!
Okay, maybe you could do that in the doorway. Okay, fine.
He smashes the jelly in front of him with a warhammer.
Go ahead. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy.
Evidently distracted by the gum flapping that he's doing with Flaven, that warhammer goes wide into the stone pillar next to him.
And it's now lodged into said stone pillar. Anything else?
Ah, you whoreson's piece of stonework, you stupid! That's it for me.
Fair enough. Sorry, buddy. It happens sometimes. So the jelly that you just tried to hit is now going to retort. Oh, excuse me, mister. I think you'll find... Oh, no! Can you guys see my rolls? Or are they private?
We cannot.
No.
The jelly has a 1d20 +2/+2, which is the same as what Flint Boulder Shoulder has. It has rolled a total of 5.
I see.
Perfect.
So you can...
We're trading crit fails.
We're trading crit fails.
Now the jelly's attack is stuck in the wall.
I will say that in trying to attack you, it thwips too hard and thwips part of itself off. Flint, go ahead and roll 1d10.
1d10?
Yes, and this will be the damage that the jelly does to itself by thwipping too hard. Cool.
3.
It thwips too hard, and part of it thwips away. Still
Rings
alive,
off
though.
into the distance.
Yep. Next jelly is this one down here, which is going to move 5 feet towards you and try not to do what its brethren did. As it rolls a 19 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit.
7 points of damage.
7? Okay.
Yes.
What's the breakdown on that damage? Sorry.
6 of it is bludgeoning, 1 acid.
Okay.
So
I'll
3
take the one
points
acid.
bludgeoning and 1 acid.
6 gets
4
divided in
total, right?
half, I think, right?
Yes, to 3.
So 3. 3 and 1. So 4 damage. Okay, great. I knew raging would have done something.
Yeah,
I'm still up.
still up. Go ahead, Snake and Junior. You were about to say something?
No, I was just calculating damage.
Fair. Durf, were you about to? Are we all good?
Oh, but like, Flint, just chill.
Junior, you are up.
Oh, I'm up. Okay. Scab. What would Junior do?
If he were here
Gonna
right
move
now,
forward.
Sorry.
5, 10. Shit. Gonna grab Flint by the shoulder. Like, not the time, brother. Come on. I'm trying to pull him back.
What
go
the hell
ahead.
are you doing?
Make-
You ain't the swordsman in the wild. Help me, God damn it!
Make a strength athletics check, and then Flint, you can make a athletics or acrobatics check to avoid being grappled.
Okay. Wait, are you grappling me?
He's trying to
You
pull you
hell.
away.
Oh, this isn't a strength check, though, eh?
Well, if it's athletics, it would be, yes. It's a strength athletics check, isn't it? So.
You get advantage because of raging.
Oh, I get an advantage?
No, you
No,
don't.
he
No.
would.
Oh,
No, Flint would.
damn it.
Well, I have rolled an 18.
I rolled an 11.
So yeah, Flint will just like shirk him off. And come on, lad!
But I guess I'm here, right?
Correct.
I had to grab him.
Yeah.
They're
All
gonna
right.
they're gonna die, right?
Oh, totally. No, they're dead.
Right, here's where we die then. Hold my sword. And run out, so stand here with him.
Come on, Junior, you're supposed to be the greatest swordsman in the world. You're gonna let some jelly defeat you?
He keeps playing it every time I do you know what? We'll talk about this later, maybe.
Is that in your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. The jelly who rolled a 3 on initiative is now going to move here 5 feet, 10 feet. Thwip, thwip.
Oh, we better not hit me or I'm done.
Oh my fucking god. I need to print screen this and show you in the Discord just because
Just tell me it's another 1.
It is.
Perfect.
There is the print screen. It rolled a 1. So go ahead and roll a d10 and see how hard it thwips itself.
Perfect. Gladly. 10.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Flint is the greatest hammer swordsman ever.
Oh, wow. Seren, top of the round, you're up.
Yeah, let's fire at it. Let's fire at the topmost jelly that's not dead.
Go ahead.
16 plus 5, so
Hits.
21.
Definitely
Okay,
hits.
sorry, I have to keep dice. That one. 9 points of piercing damage.
9 points of piercing damage. It's looking hurt. It's fairly small now.
I will move to behind Junior just in case I need to drag anybody's limp body out down the corridor.
Fair. Dazzlin is going to move a further 25 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Glinton, who is up after him, is going to move another 25 feet. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Off screen. Let me just show that for those on stream. They are now, like, here. And up next, Flaven.
Second verse, same as the first. He'll say as he extends a hand and snaps again.
Go ahead and make the attack roll.
Eight total.
Just hits.
This is the top jelly.
Well, no, I meant 8 damage. I rolled a 20 to
right.
hit. Yeah, on the
Yeah,
top
you
jelly.
did. Yeah, sorry. 8 total damage on that jelly. It burns across it, again, crystallizing part of its form. It's looking hurt, guys.
I'll step forward 10 feet. And that'll be me.
Cool. Fridj, you're up.
I will yell at Flint, get out of there, and cast Healing Word again
On...
Flint
Okay.
as he's up front, giving it 6 points of healing, and then I'm out of spell slots.
Ooh.
Cool. Cool. Any movement?
Well, your words say run, but your actions say otherwise. He feels invigorated.
Fair.
Not the point, you daft dwarf!
Any movement?
No, I'll stay put.
Cool. Flint. Shine, buddy, shine.
Yeah, at this point, you know, I'd like to just swamp my axe out of the my axe, god damn it. My warhammer out of the pillar and finish off the one in front of me.
With it
I'm very
embedded
mad that
into
we
the
both
wall,
whiffed.
Go ahead and use your bonus action to make a strength check to try and pull it out of the wall. This is
Sure.
part of you having failed before.
Yeah. Doop-a-doop boop.
To which you
Strength
should have advantage, I
check.
believe, because still raging.
Yep.
Yep.
19.
You almost smack Junior in the face before stopping it. It comes out.
Wow.
Go ahead and swing that thing, bud.
Oh, okay,
Eight
just
hits.
enough.
Top or bottom, Jelly?
The bottom one, the one that we both whiffed. This thing's going down.
Vigorously writes down Shay's a bottom.
8 plus another 2, 10 bludgeoning total on the one.
Splat!
There.
That one is now no longer undulating, moving, or doing anything at all. What? Not that one. That one. Nope. Too many jellies.
We got this.
There we go. You still have movement left, but I assume you want to stay there.
Yeah.
Cool. So bottom left jelly is. Let's see. He's got 3 targets here. 1d3 goes for Junior.
Cool.
That is an 8 to hit.
Yup.
Man, fuck your armor class. But also, this is great. I am loving this. Junior, you're up.
I'm up. Well, that dude just swung at me. So, like, god, right, fine. I'm gonna stomp on the jelly that's in front of me.
Make an unarmed attack.
Oh, I'm really good at this. Oh, 18.
Hits.
Plus 4.
Yeah. And what is your unarmed damage?
A
I think it's just a
Oh,
1d4,
is
right?
it? 1d3, apparently.
That
Oh, I got a
doesn't sound
3.
right.
Cool.
Are you sure it's a 1d3? Let me load up your
That's what it says on the
D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond.
Well, we'll say that it is for now, I suppose, and I will look at it again later and double check that for you. But 3 damage. Wunderbar. It doesn't split this time, you notice.
Cool. I guess I'll stay exactly where I am.
Cool.
And my turn.
Wunderbar.
Wait, no! No!
No.
No, I'm not. I'm going to use Second Wind as my bonus action.
And you regain a number of hit points equal to?
A 1d10 plus 1 HP.
Let's go ahead and roll that
I
d10.
can't find the d10. I'll do it on D&D Beyond. Five.
So you gain a total of 6 hit points?
No, that including the.
Oh, okay. 5 hit points. Very nice. As you think to yourself for a second, clutching your fist and bringing it towards your chest, you go, "No, I am the greatest swordsman in the world." And it invigorates you, and you feel that urge to fight pumping within your veins once more. That ends your turn. The orchid jelly to the top right is going to make its whip at Flint. 13 to hit.
No.
Nice. And that takes us back to top of the round. Seren Julius. Come on, guys.
Okay,
You can do this.
rinse and repeat.
On the
Go.
topmost.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll.
Oh, that wasn't good. 8.
That's its armor class. You hit.
All right, 1d8.
Wow.
Oh yeah, 8 points damage plus 3, so 11 points of piercing damage.
As the arrow fires from your bow through the jelly, it splatters into hundreds and thousands of pieces, and it no longer undulates or moves, and is not that one. Now dead. Got one left, guys.
Nice. I'm gonna just move up to there, and end my turn.
In doing so, you would provoke an attack of opportunity.
Ah, sorry, I didn't see the wall. Yeah, that's fine. I'll stay there.
Cool.
Fine, Junior's in front. He'll take the hit.
That's fair.
Thanks.
Dazzlin and Glinton, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Flaven.
Is that all of them? I guess. Yeah, are we? Oh God! And then Flaven will blast the final one.
Go ahead.
11 to hit.
Hits.
9 damage.
9 damage, as again, part of its form crystallizes over as the firebolt breaks into it. It's looking hurt, guys.
I'll take my remaining movement and move back to the wall.
Fair enough. Fridj. You're up.
Knowing that I wouldn't be any use, I'm just going to stay where I am.
You can still do, like, punches and kicks. Like Junior's been doing.
I don't think I could get through everyone that's there.
Fair.
Because they're making kind of like a human or a being type wall at the minute, aren't they?
That's fair. That's fair.
So I can't see any alive jellies from my angle.
That's true. Flint. You do see them swinging at it, though.
I'd see him swinging.
Let's finish this! You'll, bash it.
You screamed so loud that you are now so quiet after your mic has adjusted for the loudness. 12 hits, though.
And 12 damage.
Wow.
How do you want to do this?
I'd like to, as the Hulk once famously took Loki and bashed him into the ground repeatedly, so too will Flint take his Warhammer and bash, 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 until there's more of like a fine, grueling paste all along the ground.
And you do so. And the paste almost evaporates on the floor from the immense pressure being provided by the Warhammer just pounding again and again into the stonework with a thump, thump as it echoes throughout the chamber until you stop, breathing heavily, still in your raged form. You scream, and it is no more. And that is everyone out of combat.
I mean, I had that.
Right!
Panting. Absolutely drenched in sweat.
I like to think as Flint turns around, me and Junior are just absolutely dripping in just orange slime. Just covered in head to toe.
Yeah, I imagine that a lot of you are now covered in various parts of orange, putrid-smelling slime. Especially Flint.
Right! That's 3 for me, 1 for Flaven, 1 for Seren. Fridj, that was some good support. Junior, you created enemies.
Have you heard of a thing called tactics? We had the corridor.
My tactic was taking down as many of those bastards as I could. What was yours?
Who runs that? Did you know what? Look, I need a drink.
You didn't even give your teammate what he needed to succeed. He points at the crossbow that Flaven, whether it's on his back or.
Look, I think
Round the corner.
No, that's a
I
fair
gave
point.
him the crossbow. Just He didn't ask for bolts. And I go off again.
Well, fair enough. I guess you're only the greatest swordsman in the world. He spits on the ground.
This whole thing does not pass a vibe check, and I'm gonna head towards the exit rather than it further in.
Fair.
Oh, Fridj, come on, where are you? He exhales and seems to deflate quite noticeably. His rage that overtook him subsiding.
You done?
Oh, hi.
Great. So are we casing this joint or what?
Seriously? Half of us are barely standing. You can't be real right now.
Isn't that what we signed up for? Isn't that
But-
the whole point of all of this?
There was more than just the jellies to defeat.
Fair point.
I mean, I'm all for pushing deeper in, but unfortunately, and Seren coughs up a little bit of blood. I think we're all feeling a bit worse for wear.
I'm
Right
gonna
now.
try and catch up with Fridj. If I can, as she's heading to the exit. And just try and grab her by the shoulder.
Be a damn
Like-
shame if all this was for nothing. But...
Okay. So,
I'm sorry. I didn't know
Oh,
you were
sorry.
saying anything. I thought you were just
Sorry.
trying to catch up. My bad.
do I catch up with Fridj?
Oh,
Fridj, are you full pelt
could.
leaving, or?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm just meandering.
Yeah, you could catch up with Fridj.
I'm gonna grab her by the shoulder as she's like trying to leave and be like, "Oh, come on! It'll be at least an interesting song for you to sing, right? Stick with us; we'll be all right."
That only works if we make it out alive.
Or what kind of songs are interesting if we don't nearly die? We got this. I'm gonna nudge her and give her a big old smile.
YOLO it is!
That's my girl. And then we head back in.
Hey, anybody have like a vial or a flask or something empty, preferably?
I have an empty water skin.
Something that you won't mind not being able to use again for a good while.
It's empty.
Suit yourself. He'll take it if you offer it.
Yep, I will offer it.
I will scoop up some jelly into it.
There is enough jelly around here that, given a few minutes and some now smelly, dirtied hands, or gloves in your case, the water skin can be filled to the brim and is now a 5-pound fully filled water skin of orchid jelly.
Hey, Junior.
Yeah, Flint. You violent.
Listen, lad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for what I said. When the heat takes me, I get so high. He like looks around at all the smashed jellies and everything.
And I can see that, and I appreciate it. But we had a plan there. And we had to work around you. We had a corridor. They had to come at us. You know what? Forget it, it's fine. It's fine. Let's just move on. We'll have a drink over it, right? Give him a little nudge on the shoulder.
Yeah, he'll do a thumbs up and smile. Sounds good to me. Now, what else? What are we done? Is there anything else that we had to worry about?
Yes.
To have a look around the room to see what else is in there other than the jelly.
As Greenbean pointed out, there's something else that's supposed to be in here, right? So for worse for wear, there's a perfectly evacuated campsite over there.
We might as well take a break before we launch into the next part. You know, we don't know what's
Hey.
around that corner.
I have to agree with Fridj on this one. What do you say?
Oh, sorry. Continue.
What rest,
Right.
everyone?
If sleepy you all, like, I mean, I could go forever, but yeah, you know, I could sleep if you guys want to.
Well, it's safe to say that the others are on their way back to town, so we've at least secured that payment. It's not going to hurt to delay this one.
Hey,
Works for me.
a little rest and then onward. You'll start walking back towards the fire.
Wait. You, at least one of you, I'll point to Junior and Flint, needs to pry those things out, and he'll gesture to the spikes, just in case there are more of them. The spikes holding open the doors specifically.
Yeah, I mean, easy. I can do that. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and head towards spikes and topple them out.
In what fashion?
With my hands.
Pulling motion.
Go ahead and make a strength check.
As that's going on, I'll make a point to get the crossbow that was previously discarded.
19.
You pull and keep pulling against the spike and it wiggles, but it doesn't seem to come out. You'd imagine that if you had like a crowbar of some sorts, you could probably pry them out a bit easier, but just pulling a spike that's been hammered into the ground out using your bare hands when the ground is made of pure stone, pretty difficult.
Junior, here! And I chuck you my crowbar from my back, my satchel, whatever I have.
Wow. Cool. I shall use that crowbar to try and dislodge the spike.
Go ahead and make a strength check, now using the crowbar.
10.
That's exactly the DC you needed with the crowbar. You put the crowbar down and push and out pops the spike on the one door. It is now free to move about its hinge.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go back to the fire and sleep for about 30 minutes. I'll leave you to the arrest. Then I head back to the fire.
Before Seren goes to meditate, because she doesn't need to sleep, just by the altar up here, I know you said that there was just legs of the statue, but there was broken bits on the floor. Is any of it, like, distinguishable, or is it just all, like, just mashed to dust?
It's mostly mashed to dust. Like, there are not hundreds, but thousands of pieces of this that are, and putting it together, though definitely possible, would certainly take a lot of time. I think, like, probably one of the most difficult puzzles your character would ever have to do.
Yeah. Head back to the fire.
Alright, Flaven and Fridj. Also back to the fire, is it? Or anything you want to do before we take a quick break here? So people can grab a drink. I can have a smoke. Durf can have a smoke if he so chooses also. And then we'll have a little rendezvous in, say, about 10-20 minutes.
I guess I can wait.
Okay, fair. I assume that, well, I shouldn't assume. Are y'all taking a short rest, long rest, no rest?
I'm good for a short rest unless
I'm good for a short
anyone else needs it.
The
Yeah, short's
casters.
fine.
Casters would probably want a long to refill those, but I don't.
Ah, yes. Yeah, you're right.
Good idea, actually. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if we
Yeah.
talk as a party, if we assume the dwarves are, going back to town, that's done. So we could maybe
Oh yeah.
long's what, 8 hours?
Yeah. 4 for some.
Right. But yeah, I think 8 hours is fine. Yeah, it's like what, mid afternoon you said?
It's around 3, 4 o'clock at this time, yeah?
Well, if we're doing a long rest, I'd like to take a first watch.
Okay, well, we'll get to that once we come back from our quick break.
Yeah. But a long should be fine, If things go well, maybe we'll show back up in town next day. So I'm fine with resting until the dead of night and continuing on. It doesn't really matter if we're in here.
Very well. So, for those watching the VOD or watching live right now, we're going to go AFK for about 10 to 15 minutes while we grab drinks, snacks, and the likes. We will be back shortly. Okay, did you guys decide on long or short?
Long.
Okay, go ahead and take a long rest, get all your spell slots back, heal up to full, and first watch, I believe, was Junior.
Yeah.
So, Junior.
I'm going to step forward. Ooh, hang on. There we go. I'm going to step forward to here.
Mm-hmm.
And just lean against the wall and say to everyone, like, yeah, don't worry. I got this.
Okay, so, as all the folk get their bedrolls and respective blankets and such out, make comfort where it can be found on the rubble-strewn floor at the entrance to the temple. Go ahead and make your first perception check to see how your watch goes.
Easy. With shit. 13.
13. Are you lighting up another torch throughout? Well, you've got the campfire, I'll say, but during this time, your first torch will have run out. The one that you initially lit, as with yours, Fridj. But you're lit by the campfire at the moment, so that's not an issue. You hear a wind that you've heard consistently throughout here, flowing in through the cavern that you had initially entered within. The occasional trickle of water drop sounds from stalactites up above, dropping onto the surface below, and every so often you might hear the occasional movement of rubble, and you look off towards it, pulling your sword, and go have a look, and it appears to just have been rock formations that have spent hundreds and thousands of years undisturbed, now moving for the first time, falling and finding rest at the surface of the cliff faces. But your watch goes without hindrance, and you get to pick who you're gonna awaken for the second watch.
I'm gonna kick Flint. Wakey, wakey, buddy. You'll go.
Oh, alright, eh? And he'll just kind of get up and wrap a big hand around his brow, wipe down his eyes, and up he comes.
And we'll say
Should be noted.
Go on.
Should be noted that our resident meditator only needs half of the 8 hours.
Correct. I was just about to say,
Yep, only
each watch will
4.
be about 2 hours. So, Flint, you're up. You're up second to do the 2 hour to 4 hour mark of the watch. Go ahead and...
Yeah, Sorry. No, I can do short, little patrols and stuff like that. I'm not just gonna stand in one place for now. I'll keep my eye mostly to the entrance. Although at some point in this watch, I do want to go out and take a brief look. I just want to make sure that my Dwarven brothers there haven't stolen the horses or anything.
Sure, I'd say fairly early on within the watch, you head out towards where the ruined settlement is. Yeah, that sort of direction.
Yeah.
And you see that the horses are still all tied to the stone remnants of what used to be a thriving civilization. They look like they're about to rest for the night as it closes closer towards the evening time now. Looking out towards the entrance way you came in, you see the sunlight now dimmed and the moon slowly rising. Go ahead and make your perception check for your watch. I know you can see the Dazzling and Glinting brothers right there, but they're not right there.
Oh, okay. That was my next question. I was like, okay.
Let me just, for now.
Natty 20 on my perception there.
Yeah, so similar to Junior's watch, it goes off without hitch, hearing the faint noises of trickling water, the rocks occasionally moving, and you hear that there is flowing water beneath that well, although it has indeed collapsed in on itself. But your watch goes off without hitch.
Oi, elf.
Have a name, you know.
Aye, I've used it.
Clearly. Come on, go get some rest then.
So Seren,
And I'll perch up on top of the mound of rubble there, just watching.
alright, go ahead and make a perception check for your part of the watch.
Okay. 10.
10. Don't seem to notice much. The darkness, although you have dark vision, is still fairly dark out towards the east and western parts of this. The doors still closed to the temple ahead of you. Not much seems to happen.
Okay.
Are you, because you don't need to rest, also taking the final part of the watch, or would you like someone else to?
I'll take the final part of the watch as well. If I'm fully rested, I don't need to stay up any longer.
Roll a...
Sorry, I don't need to sleep any longer. Or meditating. Sorry.
I got what you meant. Go ahead and roll the final perception check.
Okay. Okay. I rolled a 3 with a +4. So 7.
The first of your watch that it's happened, you notice a rock fall from the cliff beside it, and you turn towards it, and it alerts you for a second, drawing either your blade or your bow. You move up towards it, and you swear you see a figure there. But it's just the weird way the rocks are formed. Your watch goes off without a hitch.
Okay. As soon as the 8 hours is up, I'm just gonna wake everyone up. Just give them a quick shake. Like, let's go. Time to go now.
Come on, man, like 5 more minutes.
Ugh, I'm up. I'm up. He will indeed get up.
Does
Very
anyone
reluctantly.
have
Junior gets up
coffee?
too.
I can't function without coffee.
Oh yeah.
You bring that?
Some. Give me a second, and I'm literally gonna just grab a handful of dirt and just hold it out to her.
The stink eye, you're gonna see it from where I am.
She's gonna smile.
I like this one. Alright, Flint.
Huh?
What's your plan here? You gonna be aggressive again? Or should we take this more carefully?
Oh, I'm
Maybe.
always aggressive, lad. But I suppose a wee more, tactics.
Tactics, yes. That's the one.
Right.
Well, how about you, Professor Flip-Flop? You awake yet?
No response.
Fridj will go over and just gently shake his shoulder, see if that garners any response.
His eyes will open.
We're moving. You coming?
You'll get him. Everybody good?
As much as you can expect for a night on the rock.
How does
How does
Flaven
your hair
hair
still look amazing? That was directed at Professor Flip-Flop.
Yeah.
Or Flaven, sorry.
Family secret. He'll stretch. We got any food, or are we just going in on an empty stomach?
Yeah, I could eat.
I've got 1 day's worth of rations on me. We could split it between us, but I don't think it'll be much.
Oh, I got a little more than that. Some hardtack, beef jerky. You know.
I've got some grub. I'm gonna start chewing into my rations.
Yeah, same. And if anyone needs, I got 10 of those, it looks like.
Oh, I have 5. I can't read.
Oh, there you go.
Does anyone need a ration? Because, yeah. Are we all good?
Tell you what, I bum one of those and I'll pay you back when we get back to town.
Ah, you're alright. It's on me for getting me up there yesterday.
Consider that debt paid in full. He'll say as he accepts the ration and bites into it, only to realize that he hates the taste. He'll chew it anyway.
Noticing the look on his face, I'll just make eye contact and nod knowingly and go back to chewing on mine.
Fair. So, breakfast having been had, you all are now fully rested, with food in your stomach. Thirst is still a thing, and a water skin has been emptied and given away.
Mine was empty. It was empty.
I still have mine, which would be full. So I'll pass that around if need be.
Fair.
I assume breakfast involved taking water too.
Yeah. I was just making sure that everyone was aware of it. As there are some people that
AKA
don't have
Fridj.
full... Yeah.
Fridj is aware.
So, you all now watered, fed, rested, with the temple ahead of you, and the moonlight peering through the entrance behind you. What is your first port of action?
Right, back to tactics. A vicious side eye at Flint. What do you guys want to do here?
Might as well take a look at that side entrance.
Right, but once we get in there, if a fight breaks out, are we leaving?
Doesn't leave much room, it's quite narrow. From what we could see.
Is no one else interested in the fact that the first thing you you see when you walk into this place is an altar. That doesn't strike anyone as odd,
With dwarves?
especially with dwarves. He'll shoot a glance at Flint.
Hey, well, a lot of us pay homage to Moradin. Helps us with the crafting and smithy and all.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go look at the pedestal. And Flaven will step past.
And nudge Seren on the shoulder. Just like, keep an eye out with that boat, yeah. As we go in.
Will do. Shout. Do you see anything?
Has anything changed in here?
Seems all to be the same. The sconce to the north still lit with the doorway open above you. The other three sconces unlit, and the altar seems to be in the exact same formation that it was when you left. Looks undisturbed.
Can I take my own torch and light it from this sconce at the top here, and then proceed around the room just to light the rest of them, to give a bit more light in here?
Sure. Give me a second to.
Can I see her doing that?
You can.
I want to say, okay, let's just be careful of that, yeah. Last time I did that, 2 of us nearly died.
3.
Well, be careful, but it's just we need to light up this room a little bit. If anything else comes out, maybe drop back and we'll shoot from afar. You know, handle it. We meant to.
Well, I don't know about that, but if I see anything, I'll come back.
And before you get onto that, very quickly, Snake, I believe you were going to investigate the altar.
Yep.
Go
Give it
ahead.
once over.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check. $22, nice. Very nice. So you start looking over the altar, you see the 2 feet and stubbins of the legs that still remain of the statue that once stood atop this altar. Looking around the altar itself, you come around towards the back of it and you see a small little switch that seems precariously placed in a position that many people wouldn't normally look.
Huh. He'll look up and see how close everybody is to him. They're far enough away. And he'll flip the switch.
As you do so, you hear this crumbling again, the sound of like stone against stone, as the pillar to the northeast of the room, the northeasternmost face of it, slides down into the earth below, revealing several dwarven skulls that tumble out from the pillar and a few gems.
And look at that. What sort of gems do we have?
Rubies and sapphires mostly, with an emerald. You imagine that there's about 100 gold pieces worth of gems split about 5 different gems here.
I'll kneel down and paw through it, looking for something in particular, and upon not finding it, I'll leave the gems.
Find over there, champ.
Some gems there if anybody wants them.
Hell yeah. I go over and pick them up.
Okay, go ahead and add 2 sapphires, 2 rubies, and an emerald to your inventory.
Can I lift up the corner of this bear rug to see if there's anything underneath it?
You can. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh, that's not bad. Investigation plus 3 is 21 total.
Looking beneath the bear rug, there does not seem to be anything of value or worth. The surface beneath it, though not dust-covered and a nicer tinge of stone than the previous stone, you imagine this rug hasn't moved for a long, long time.
Just happy to know that there's not going to be a floor dropping out beneath my feet.
Fair enough. I believe, Seren, you were wanting to light up torches, or sconces.
Right, it was 2 emerald. And what, sorry?
2 emerald, 1 emerald, 2 sapphire, 2 rubies.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go down here and light up this sconce first, please.
As you do so, similar to when Junior had lit up the sconce to the north, lighting up this sconce reveals another secret hidden passageway that opens beneath you. Give me a second, I'm trying my hardest. It doesn't want to work for me. There we go. Oop. And, oh, I've just made a door in the middle of the room. Whoops. Boom. There we go.
Oh. Hey, everyone. We've got another door here. I guess we really need to decide which way we're gonna go.
Are you lighting up that one also?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, as you light the sconce on the wall, it reveals another stone cutaway that sort of and opens up within the room. As soon as I can get to the bloody thing for it. There we go. And Flint, while this is going on, I see you sneaking your way up to the north there.
Oh, he's not sneaking, but yeah. Flint's just gonna approach the. Is it a door?
It is a door.
Okay, cool. He's just gonna
Just
approach
a wooden
the door here
frame
and
door.
pop that sucker open. He's got his warhammer already, but
Inside you see, strewn across the floor, rotten mattresses and bedrolls, 3 of which that all seem to have been jostled quickly before whomever was here many a years ago vacated this area. The dust as you open the room was settled on the surfaces and begins to float around now with little flecks constantly in your vision that make you uneasy for a second, but then you see it's just the dust. Everything is fine.
I think I had left when Seren was doing the whole, like, I'm gonna go around and do the torches. So would I have heard the, like the stone? Would I have heard that?
Yes, it's fairly loud of a sound of stone on stone, so you will have heard the pillar and then the 2 doors.
Right. So I can only assume. Okay, so I'm gonna. Flint will shrug and keep moving through. He, hopefully it'll link back up with what Seren has opened. So I'm just gonna try.
Fair enough. And around this time, I assume, Seren, you're doing the last of the.
Yep, doing the last one.
Similarly, without much surprise, as you light up the 4th and final sconce within this room, it reveals another secret door that now opens up with, again, stone on stone sound into where that jelly had seeped through previously.
Can I light a torch at this point of one of my own
You can?
on one of these things? And I'd like to say to everyone, like, hey, so anyone seen Flint? Oh, god damn it, and then run off up into where I last saw him.
And the rest of you?
I mean, are we going to go after them, or...?
I mean, I
Scream in
don't know.
tactics as I go down the hallway.
We've got 5 open doorways here. Does it make sense to us to bottleneck ourselves?
I'm sorry, are you suggesting we split up?
No, I'm suggesting maybe we stay here until they return.
Fine by me.
I have a just feeling that they might not come back this way.
I don't know, short round's pretty loud. If they get into trouble, we'll hear. In the meantime, Flaven's going to produce the sketchbook he had, and he's going to start drawing the mechanism that opened up the pillar, and then move to the pillar and start drawing the mechanism there.
Okay. Seren's going to just wander just the corner of this hallway to see if there's a room or if it's just a hallway that just carries on down.
Do you currently have tinkering tools upon you, Snake, Flaven?
Yeah, I should.
Go ahead and
Actually,
make
hold on.
Okay.
I do not have them in my inventory, but I would have brought them. That would be something that he carries with him.
Okay. Go ahead and make a tinkering check to see how well you can understand the mechanism to jot it down into the book accurately enough.
It's like just D20 plus proficiency if I'm proficient with the tool.
Correct.
This would be, I have Prodigy, so this will double my proficiency with the tools.
Alright. 18. Fairly good, yeah. You get a very decent understanding of how the mechanisms work, and are fairly confident in, as you continue to, your sketch of them. Before we move on to Flint and Junior's expedition, anything else anyone would like to do?
Just following my movement, I would have just walked over to Flaven so we're in a group, rather than separated throughout the room.
Cool.
I've just gone down the entranceway where the jelly came through the wall, just have a quick look, see if it was a room or if it's a corridor that continued on, but looks like it continues on. So
It appears to be a corridor, yeah.
yeah, so I've gone back. Yeah, I'll go back to Flaven and Fridj.
Cool. Junior and Flint, you're up.
Well, I come around the corner as I come through this doorway. Like, Flint! God damn it, what did I just say? Tactics, man!
Hey, you said if I run into anything, then I'll come back, so that I don't get us into a situation again. That's fine. And I said, as I ran out, I'd follow it. Tactics.
It's not... Okay, yeah, fine, and I'm gonna light this pillar up.
Alright. As you do so, in a similar fashion, that seems to be a trend, lighting up the sconce provides light to the room.
There's like a door in
And
front
also
of me.
reveals a secret door.
Oh, shite. Every single one, is it? Yeah.
I'll shout
Alright.
down the corridor that found another secret door up here. Flint's fine, by the way, even though he's running away again. I follow him by.
I took one step, lad. Relax. He takes another step into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Is this already lit up or what?
It is.
Huh. With a already revealed door in front of us.
That looks like a wooden door. It
Oh,
is
it
not
does, okay.
a stone door.
Okay, great. Well, he gets his warhammer ready and.
Wait, Flint, no, wait.
As you enter into this, I'm gonna need no.
It's not but a small hallway. Actually, if I look to my, I guess it would be my right. Does that link up with any of the flamey secret doors they've been doing?
So you can see the S on the ground. So you as a person know full well that is a secret door there. However, to Flint, currently, without investigating further, it just looks like a sheer stone surface similar to the walls.
Yeah, that's fine. Flint's just using his, like, spatial recognition of, like, they would be roughly in this direction, and, hoping that door is nothing there.
As stands currently with Flint stood in this hallway, he feels a slight breeze coming from his left to the right.
And if I look down that direction, what do I see?
Rubble, mostly, from what appears to have been a cave-in within this hallway. Looks a lot looser than most of the other rubble you've seen in this place.
Damn shame. Oh well. He looks in front of him to the door. And give that a swing open as well.
Junior's following behind.
In this half-buried... this room is half buried in rubble. Then, looking inside, you see the skeleton of a dwarf priest wearing a set of rotting leather armor. The dwarf itself looks to have been killed when part of the room had collapsed.
Ugh. Cave-in. Bad way to go.
Do you know what also is a bad way to go, Flint? Running off from your party.
Now, boy. He turns around and looks Junior square in the eye. To die in the crucible of battle. That is one of the most honorable ways to go. So I must disagree. That, he gestures towards the priest, doing what you love and it getting you killed like that. No. Just shakes his head sadly.
Honorable, but dead nonetheless. Who's going to tell you stories?
Well, there is always the ones who run. He
Junior
looks
smile.
back,
You've got a point. Okay, fine, but just try and chill, yeah?
He's gonna look back towards the priest. Do you want to go get the others? It doesn't look like this connects up. Not anymore, anyway.
We've hit a dead end, have we, Leo?
It appears to be.
Appears to be. Okay. And did you just say you want me to go back and get the other people?
Yeah, he just mentioned if you want to go back and get the others, because it doesn't look like this is gonna link up.
Right, okay. Junior backs up. Okay. I'll go chat to the others. and head on back.
Nah. Well, while he's doing that, I want to get out my blanket that's with my bedroll.
Mm-hmm.
And take another last kind of look at the priest. I hadn't really given him a close look yet, so I don't know. Give him a bit of a closer look before.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check on the priest.
Okay. I will do that.
Is that not what you were referring to?
No, that's fine. No, I'm
Okay.
good with making one. I'm just lamenting the fact that it's an intelligence check.
Oh. Well,
I got a 10.
You were good enough. Looking over the priest with blanket in hand, you see around the skeleton's neck a chain of silver, and at the end of it a amulet almost with the symbol of a tiny jeweled dagger upon it. And turning over to the other side of it, you see written in Dwarven, "Greed is good."
Do I recognize that symbol at all?
Make a religion check. Because you are a dwarf,
Oh,
I'll say. Yeah, make a religion check.
Alright. 9.
You do not.
He kind of snorts at it.
Looks like a
And
pretty
then
dagger.
he'll... What's that?
Looks like a dagger. That's all you can drink.
Yeah, he just kind of snorts at it, and then he'll put the, hang the necklace down as it did before. He'll kind of out his blanket, and he just kind of lays it over top the priest.
Very well. The priest is covered in a blanket in a nice fashion, as if to be like, well, it's a shame one of my brethren have gone, but I will honor the dead. I like it.
Rest easy, brother. Your day is done now. And he'll just kind of turn and give one last look at the rubble. It doesn't look like we can go this way, so he'll head back out into the hallway and gingerly close the door. Which still, probably given Flint, makes it give a hearty thump.
Again, as you go through, you feel the breeze, this time on your right, towards the rubble, of that small little bit of wind, just cold against that one side of you, as you pass through the hallway. Back up through.
Then he'll wait for the others.
So, back at the group.
Yeah, June is coming through saying, "Alright, Flint wants company apparently. You guys doing alright in here? Find anything?"
Nothing of interest.
Well, plenty of interest, just nothing of use.
Point.
Right.
Well, he'll snap close his book and stow it.
Yep.
Have you and Flint found anything down that way?
Oh, just a corpse. I mean, to be expected in a mine, right?
How old?
It was a skeleton, right?
Correct.
Yeah, pretty damn old. No meat.
Oh, he sounds disappointed.
Anyway, Flint
Lead
seems
the way.
pretty good about this direction, so let's go.
Boop.
The fools go marching one by one. Hurrah! Hurrah!
What are we doing here, Flint? I say as I show up.
Oh, well, we've got a bit of a draft out in the hallway. And I don't know, the other one seems like it should link up, but it didn't. So, figure if some of you bigger brains than I can take a look. And he can kind of like
take
move
much.
past Junior.
Matters under his breath.
Where do you say the draft was coming from?
Yeah, I've gone into that hallway where you said the draft is. What have I?
Yeah, you
what
can.
can I send?
You
You can feel it back in that hallway to the left.
God, sorry.
just as was said by Dwarf Man McGee, you feel a draft off to the right, through the rubble.
What do
Strange.
you want us to do, Flint? Do you want us to dig? We've got like 8 other doors to check.
Well, I didn't know. You did something last time, and suddenly there was a passageway, wasn't there?
Strange. Why would there be a draft down in a mine?
Another entrance, another exit. It's not really that unusual, is it?
Well, I mean, if you think we're going deeper and deeper in, it wouldn't be likely to have much airflow.
What are you thinking, Professor Flip-Flop?
I'm thinking I can't really see anything from here. Excuse. Sorry, what exactly do I see again?
In this room to the right of you as you come in, you see just the stone face surface of the walls, and to the left there is a small area of this hallway that appears to have collapsed in either from an earthquake or just age having broken the beams that would have held this area aloft. And there is rubble strewn across the floor there, and in front of you, just to where Seren is, there is another partially collapsed room with a blanketed bit of rubble.
Does the blanket appear old?
It does not.
Oh, someone dropped this. He'll pull it back.
Doing so reveals the aforementioned skeleton of what appears to be dwarven priest wearing rotting leather garments.
Ah. All right, and he'll cover it back up. Where's this draft coming from?
I assume that was a question from Flaven to the party and not from Snake to me.
Correct.
Oh, Junior licks his finger. Holds it up, pretending like he knows. To the right, I believe.
The side of your finger that is towards the draft goes a little bit colder than the rest, indicating that direction is where wind is coming from.
That away.
I'll start looking around for some sort of mechanism or something. Any symbols.
Roll an investigation check. 14. Very well. Familiar with the sort of switch that you had seen previously before, you find on the westernmost wall there is a small switch almost hidden and embedded within the wall.
Yeah, no, there's nothing here. He'll turn around and then lean against the wall with a hand.
Yep.
Guess we have to turn, oh, wait, and then click.
Doing so, you hear the stone on stone movement again, and the wall behind you opens up.
Oh, look at that.
I figured that I can just click the door icon and secret doors open. I'm learning.
I do apologize, Flint. I thought this was a dead end, but apparently we have a door.
See, that's why I brought you.
When is a door not a door?
when it's ajar.
Junior heads in through the door.
When it's a wall was the correct answer. You may pass.
And what's down this way?
To the south, the partially collapsed hallway. To the north, hallway that seems to both sides loop back around to the altar room you were in previous.
Oh, it sent us around a loop.
Well, that's that mystery solved, at least.
Try one
Brilliant.
of the other. You try one of the other doorways back in the altar room. There's
Well, doesn't
two
that-
more that have opened up.
Doesn't that only leave the one? This one?
No, there was. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I, didn't... I thought that was a collapsed hallway down there. My bad. Yeah, that leaves just the one.
It's partially collapsed. You can get through it, but it's difficult terrain.
Anyone volunteering? No? Okay, I'll go.
Shout, Flint, are you coming?
Effing you need me! He, like, grunts and groans as he squeezes himself past the southern, Hey?
Fridj will follow after Junior, seeing as no danger befell them the last time they wandered off.
They went that way.
Oh, thank you.
Well, look at us stuck in a corner, Fridj. Big smile.
Yeah, no.
Oh, great, another door. Well, you'll yank it open.
Doing so reveals another partially collapsed room.
Great.
Anything of note in this one?
Make an investigation check.
Not as
Rock and
good.
stone.
13.
Doesn't appear to be. Given that you looped round the other way, you imagine that this is just a symmetrical, carved out piece to the northern section of the temple, and would have previously connected to the other partially collapsed room you guys saw.
Mystery solved.
Right, this mine is a mine.
It's not a mine, it's a temple.
Temple.
Back to other direction.
Obviously didn't reveal any of the treasure they were hoping we'd find.
That just means we haven't done deep enough, lass.
Hey, what do you mean? I hold out the handful of emeralds that I picked up.
1 emerald, 2 rubies, 2 sapphires.
Oh, I can't stand that, can I?
I know you want more than 1 emerald, but you're only gonna want...
Jewels, sorry.
Yeah.
But
So
obviously
I-
missing something here.
Unless that was it and we're just putting in more effort than it's worth.
True. I'm curious about the draft, though.
There is a draft. Flint, go lick the stone or something. That's what you do, right? Find out what the issue is there.
Oh, yeah. I'll have the stone licked. Don't you worry. He marches off and squeezes himself through here again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll follow Flint.
Excuse me.
Speaking of licking stones, where did the other one go? Where's Flaven? Never mind.
Asking ye shall receive.
Sorry, go
Right,
ahead.
smelling as good as ever.
You can smell him from all the way over there.
That's
Good
pretty
smelling
alarming.
guy.
Well, thank you. Want to know a secret?
Go on.
He'll reach into his pack and procure a bar of soap and toss it to him. Helps wonders.
Going to walk away.
I had wondered when the bar of soap that you'd put in your inventory was going to come into play.
Oh, I have 10.
I know. I just didn't want to mention the others.
Just buries himself in Dove every day.
It's good for
Hey, what's,
moisturize, man. It's great.
So in front of me, we've got the, we can feel the draft. Are there like a few big rocks in front of me?
There's a few big rocks, a few smaller rocks that all seem to close off what once was this surface ahead of you.
Okay. So I'm going to try and remove some of the bigger stones out of the way. If I need to, I'll use my warhammer to, like, the back of it to sort of give me some little leverage. But either way, I'd like to see if I can widen this passage, see if I can break through to any sort of other side. I mean, there's a draft, so
Go
presumably it
ahead
doesn't
and, as you're using your warhammer, use like a strength check to see how well you can break up some of the rocks and make your way through.
Cool. Five.
Yeah, you crumble a few of them, and you make a bit of progress, but you imagine at this rate it would take a further 20 hours or so with you working by yourself to get through.
Ugh. That's just... Well, we'll probably need to take a couple of chefs.
How long do you think it'll take to get through again?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a few good hours. Many hands, light work and all that.
Right. I'll go back and tell the others and see what they think.
And Seren steps away. Flint will now take the other end of his warhammer and just start smashing up some rocks, and he'll go more into it.
Fair enough. You continue working on the wall ahead of you.
Fridj. Flaven. I've left Flint digging away in the corridor back there. He says in a couple of hours we all work together. We could probably get through. See if there's anything on the other side. I don't know if you want to maybe join in, or whether it's a good idea, or we could just. I mean, where's Junior gone?
As Snake has stepped away briefly, I will be stepping in for Snake as best I can. Just to let you all know.
I was just gonna say, why don't you take Flaven with you and I'll go look for Junior.
Cool. Cool. I mean, I guess.
Like he's here.
Let's just drag him along.
Hey, you're not taking what he said to heart, right? I'll say
Fine.
Catching up with him.
Fine. No, yeah. Just getting some air. I don't care. I'm rubbing the soap on the sides of my neck.
You know you're supposed to do that in the shower, right?
What's that?
Never mind. Flint's trying to dig at this brigade. Do we want to go give him a hand? They're gonna take all night otherwise.
Alright, Flint, why don't we just leave? We got the port. Okay, fine, let's go see what they're doing.
So I'll give Flint a hand and start sort of piling stone out the way and digging as best as I can.
Go ahead and make a strength check to see how well you perform.
A 7.
Yeah, you figure you've now doubled roughly the workforce, and about 10 hours from now of work like this, you'll have gotten through.
I'll ruffle around in my bag and pull out my own crowbar and see if I can leverage anything out the way.
Cool. Go ahead and make a strength check to see how well you can aid, and
Oh, that's unfortunate.
what benefits does the crowbar give you when reading on
Using
it?
the crowbar grants advantage to strength check, so that means I can
roll
roll
with
it
advantage.
twice,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
When the crowbar's leverage can be applied. 17.
Okay. You feel like you have significantly showed up the dwarf and the elf, and you figure now with your aid, you could probably get through this within an hour.
Nice.
Are you sure you're just a tavern worker?
Anything to get back to my coffee. Can we get done with this?
He steps aside. You go get it, Fridj.
To not have too many cooks spoil the broth here, we'll, as long as everyone is permitting, speed up time here a bit and say that you work at the tunnel for about an hour and make your way through. If that's
Yep.
cool with everyone. Cool.
Yeah.
So you do
Yeah, but Billy Junior's doing nothing.
fair.
Throwing a drop.
You work through for the next hour or so with the aid of the crowbar and Fridj, just doing all the work, pulling the rocks away to one side, and then the hammer occasionally coming down from Flint to crush up the stone. You have made your way through to what appears to be a door up ahead made of metal. A brass sheen door with that symbol that you've seen, Flint, on the face of it, that jeweled looking dagger pointing downwards.
Oh. I need y'all to stand back. Maybe on the other, just past the other doorways.
Yeah, now the
Well-
hard work's done. Sure. I'll take a step back.
And I appreciate it, but I mean, this might be some sort of trap. He gives the jewel dagger another little look.
Go ahead and make an investigation.
Sure.
You know that thing that the dwarf is really good at?
Yeah, 7. That's fine. I didn't even think I'd make a check anyway.
Yeah. Looks like a dagger on a door. It's almost with your knowledge of how metallurgy and stonework and this sort of things go, from obviously your background spent in your hometown, you imagine that this door is cast as opposed to put together. The dagger that is on the face of it is a part of the overall piece of metal as opposed to like just something affixed to the door.
Right. I'll take a look back to make sure my party's not immediately in this hallway.
Flaven will step out.
I very much am.
Junior,
Swinging up against the wall. Yeah.
I don't know if flames or acid or and the like. It might not work after so long, but it might happen. So, you mind just ducking into one of the rooms there?
You're learning tactics. I like it. And I'm going to duck into this room. If I can, which I can't.
Open the door first.
I can't move. God damn it. There we go.
and then yeah, Flint will his legs are ready. He'll try the door.
The door opens, revealing in front of you a small, almost oval-shaped room. It's an alcove, and towards the south wall, you see the rubble has caved in most of up ahead. In the center of the room, you see this statue that stares greedily towards you, with this glowing white gem held in front of it in its hands. To the north,
Okay.
the stone... Oh. No, okay, that's
No, go
fine,
ahead.
that's all you want. No, that's all you want, that's fine.
All good for now.
Great.
Head in behind him.
I kind of step off to the side, make way for his group.
Junior, look, another sconce. You gonna like this one too?
I mean, sure. We could do. Screw it. Light it up.
Fridj is gonna slowly draw their long sword just in case something moves.
Mm-hmm. The sconce is now lit.
Do we notice anything different? Anything move? Do we hear anything?
Nothing appears to have changed in the room. From the lighting of it, you can see a bit better, but I mean...
What was this in the center again?
It appears to be a statue aloft, a small plinth along it, written in a language that you, I don't think, understand. Let me double check your languages. Written in a language you don't understand, this script around the bottom seems to be repeating a similar thing. In the hands of this statue held in front of it is, and looking at it now, it's a dwarven looking figure in this statue. Held aloft in the hands is this sizable white crystal, almost see-through and glinting at you in the light of the sconce, almost pulling you in.
Flint, have you ever seen anything like this?
He takes a look. Have I?
Make a religion check.
Okie doke.
Maybe you'll get it this time. Nope.
Ugh, I'm bad at this.
The script you will
Got a
have
4.
recognized, though, says greed is good, repeating around the plinth in Dwarven.
Gonna give it a
Well,
poke. The
I
gem.
don't know about.
Okay.
Oh.
As you, how much force is one poking said gem?
Oh, not force, but just very gently. Just
Okay. Enough to move the gem?
no, I was trying to see if it was an illusion.
It's real.
Oh,
Well, I
Pretty
don't know about all of this, but the writing says, "Greed is good."
So, take the gem?
let's take the damn thing. After you, Flint.
Okay, so I know I said out in the hallway, but this one definitely screams trap, eh?
But it said greed is good.
Oh, I'm so brave, and I go in by myself, but I can't pick up a gem.
Oh, I can pick it up, lad, but I'm giving a shit about you and all of you. He gestures around at his party. Well, excuse me for not wanting to get flames up your anus. He takes a step towards the gem. And if nobody stops him, he will pick it up.
Backs up to the wall.
Is anyone stopping him?
No.
As you lift
No.
the gem from the grasp of the statue, you see, looking at it now, this is a really pretty diamond. And the statue's arms collapse in on itself so that, you know, like that dead man, sort of like both arms across the chest, sort of. It does that across its chest, and you hear. What are you doing?
Right. It was a trap.
I believe everyone. To the door. I'm going to sprint towards the door.
Yeah.
Flint just waits. He'll. I mean, it's a whole group. I don't want to push past anyone. He'll just wait.
Fridj is gonna stay by the door, ready to grab Flint if she's got to drag him backward.
So what?
To recap you on what we've done, we have carved through part of the hallway to reveal this secret chamber here. In it, there is a statue atop a stone plinth that had a white gem in its hands, and it was almost inviting someone to take it with this greedy look in its face. Written around the base of the stone plinth in a language which I do not think you can understand.
If it's Dwarvish, I do.
You do understand Dwarvish. Repeating around this stone plinth, it says, greed is good, all the way around the stone plinth. As people were deciding what to do with the gem, Junior had poked it to see if it was corporeal, and it did indeed appear to be. And Flint has now grabbed the gem, lifting it from the plinth as the stone arms of the statue come up into like a coffin, you know, like a dead man's pose with the arms crossed across the chest, and a faint ticking sound can be heard, and that's just as you got back.
Oh no, that's fine. Don't say any of the valiant party stuff. Just make me look like a dumbass.
I don't need to do that. You do that yourself, man.
Ooh.
I mean, you set me up, I'll knock him down.
Anyway, there's where we're at.
As they're rushing out, Flaven will step forward and try to get a grasp on what the hell this mechanism is.
Very quickly then, roll with your tinkerer's tools.
Yeah, I think, and Flint's standing there waiting for them to rush out, and I think Fridj is also at the ready.
Fridj is by the door, ready to grab your collar if necessary.
Yeah.
The 19.
Looking through, you glance underneath the arms and you see these cogs whirring, ticking, and you using your tinkerer's tool manage to pry off one of the arms, and you look inside and you can see that there is a lot of explosives within this statue, and the mechanism is nearing the end of its timer.
Is there any way to disable it?
Possibly. You could certainly try with your tinkerer's tools, but it would be the last thing you, like, it's down to the wire.
Bomb.
Before he's finished even saying anything, I'll grab Flint and start running. As long as he doesn't oppose my strength, I guess.
No, not at all. No, he's, in fact, he might be pushing you as well as you pull.
Okay, that's fine then.
The last two of you to leave the room, in this case, would be Flint and Flaven. I need you both to make dexterity saving throws.
Now, as if I'm there and I'm looking at it and I know that there's not enough time to get out, I will try to disable it as they leave.
Go ahead and try and disable it then. I will allow that. With the tinkerer's tools.
Oh!
18.
As you hear the fuse going off on the explosive, you manage to jam in your tools into the cog, stopping them. And for a brief moment, you close your eyes, thinking, "Oh God, this is it, this is it, this is it." You open one eye, look around. Nothing has happened. You appear to have stopped the explosion.
Never mind, all good.
Junior's looking right at Flint, going, "Did you run?"
Ha! Caliber keg full of explosives in the statue, lad. You're damn right, your ass I ran.
Fridj just looks completely shell-shocked.
Oh, we're good. Everyone's good.
Given
Everyone's
your
still breathing.
research background, Flaven, if you would like to make a history check on this figure, the dagger symbol that was on the door, and the plinth, as you hadn't had chances you were away, I'll allow it.
Sure.
Nice.
18.
You know more about the dwarven culture than the dwarf. Looking at this appears to be the statue of a dwarven god known for its greed. Just trying to... Abathor is the name of this dwarven god that you are seeing the symbol of here, and this temple now sort of clicks to you. This is a long forgotten temple of one of the many dwarven outcasts, Durgar, that would worship such a god as Abathor.
Abathor should have known.
What's that?
Abathor. This is a temple of Abathor.
His brow furrows a little bit. Oh, might have learned something like that, but I always hated Abba. But I might have known from the that skeleton. So hold on, that means Durgar.
Yep.
Excuse me one moment. He kind of moves past here. Slips down into the southern room.
Someone
Casts his
follow him.
Warhammer.
Yeah,
And start beating the blanket with his warhammer.
fair. In doing so, the skeleton beneath crumbles with ease, is aged for many years, and the symbol that was on the chain flukes out from underneath the blanket.
He'll rifle around and try and grab that amulet from before.
Fair enough. Add an amulet of Abathor to your inventory.
Like to tap Pastor Flip-Flop on the shoulder. As the smartest members of this group. What do you think we should do?
Well, I can almost guarantee that anything else in this place that holds anything of value is outfitted with something like this. I'll gesture to the bomb behind him.
That sounds like a leave to me.
Yeah, where was that? Do we, out of character, do we recognize that as a diamond?
Out of character, that is a diamond.
But did we recognize it as such in character?
I believe Flint
did not.
did.
What?
Flint didn't?
I don't think so, no. I said that it was a translucent white gem,
True.
but did not state specifically that it was a diamond.
Would I have been able to make a check? Would I recognize?
Roll a perception because you were at the back of the group initially. Okay, we're all zooming in on that. I did not realize that was a thing.
Yeah, it is. Sorry.
You saw. Well, Flint, were you trying to? I guess not. Yeah, I'd say with a 10,
No, I wouldn't be
that's
trying to hide
decent
it or
enough.
anything.
You'd see that it looked oddly diamond-like from the viewpoint you had. You couldn't tell specifically, but fairly diamond-esque.
Excuse me, I need to go talk to our resident tactics master. Hey, short round. Excuse me.
Hiya. What can I do for you?
That thing you picked up.
Hey.
Mind if I see it?
Oh, hey. He tosses the gem over to Flaven.
I'll look it over.
It appears to be a diamond, of value of about 300 gold pieces.
Perfect. Exactly what I needed. Mind if I hang on to this?
He shrugs. If you got a need, not at all.
Appreciate it. Now we just have to get out of here alive. Unless there was something else.
Junior's walked out of the room and is up next against Fridj. You all good there?
Just. Yes.
Hell of a story to sing about, right?
Yes. And she'll quietly start walking towards the others, but not trying to get away or anything.
Very well. And I assume you are all of the intent of leaving now?
Yeah.
Believe so.
Then on that note, I think this is a good opportunity to call an end to it. There is certainly more left to do within this map that you will do before heading off next time. But that being said, what is the goal? Are you all still of the mindset to head to Umbridge Hill on the way back to Phandalin and handle that? Or just so I got a rough idea of what we're doing with the next session.
Yeah, are we going for a Bora?
Was that did that
Little
seem to
old
us?
lady.
Adbra.
Right. But now that we're I guess 12 hours past middle of the night, was that super time sensitive, or are we okay to still do that, do you think?
I think we're still okay to do that. It's just let some old woman know that she probably needs to come back to town.
So she doesn't get dragon eaten.
Right, yeah. She wasn't like moving on her own. It's not like she'd be like gone or anything, so
No.
okay, cool.
I think that's the general direction we plan on moving.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we got to go past anyway. We might as well, sort of almost like just divert it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like a little bit off the track you guys took to get here. Wouldn't be any more than about a half hour extra on your journey. If things go well.
Nice. Sounds good.
Yep.
So, with that, I'm going to call it an end to the stream. We'll do our little post-game thing afterwards, obviously, once the stream has ended. Go ahead.
Quick thing for people on the stream. We're planning to meet every Sunday bi-weekly at this time, yeah?
Yes, I was
No,
at
at 6 o'clock, not now.
Yes.
At our starting time. So our next one would be February 14th.
Correct. February 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, or if you're a Brit like me, Durf and Dave, that is, and Robin, sorry.
Oh.
Wow. So
alone
6 p.m.
again, naturally.
GMT.
So we're gonna meet on Valentine's Day, and
Oh,
I just thought of that too, as I was like, February 14th. Wait.
Something about this seems important.
I will. Well, for some of you.
Mine's gone, mate, if you're on about me. Welsh Valentine's Day is January 25th.
Is it?
Yeah, St. Dwindon's Day.
Huh. I didn't know that. Well, okay, so for those in...
Keep an eye on Twitter, folks!
Yes, I will,
Yeah.
I will speak with all the people here between now and then, and I will let you know via my Twitter, and I'm sure that Snake and Shay and Durf will not mind retweeting it on their Twitter also to let everyone know. But for now, that does call us an end to this adventure. Hopefully you all had as much fun as I did sharing this story with you, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Until then, have a good time, have a good night, and don't roll no ones.